proclaiming himself to be the biggest Chicago Cubs fan. Stuart McVicker is showing off his converted basement on a brand new Netflix series titled Amazing Interiors. He named the area Club 400, features an organ once used at Wrigley Field, a life-size Anthony Rizzo bobblehead, and a television above the urinal, so no one misses a pitch. That man's Cubs clipped the Diamondbacks 2-1 at Wrigley Field. John Lester, 6+ innings of 1-run ball. Mike Trout, 2 home runs, driving in 4 to carry the Angels to an 11-3 win over the White Sox in Anaheim. Bears continue training camp with another practice this morning. Chicago has a family weekend tomorrow and Saturday at Olivet Nazarene University. The News is a service of Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion is the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and release a child from poverty today. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
I'm Devin. I deliver sandwiches for Jimmy John's.
Freaktown! Population Devin.
We'll deliver one sandwich,
Minimum freak.
or hundreds of sandwiches.
Infinity freak.
However many you want.
You're mayor of Freaktown, Devin. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
I'm Tammy. I get to Jimmy John's early every day.
Freak-a-doodle-doo.
To bake bread fresh.
Freak-a-doodle-do.
And we keep on baking throughout the day, so it's always fresh for our customers. That's all.
Doodaloo, freak-a-doo. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology actively invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you, the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
It's 5:10. Just an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike and Niles, for the crash on Gulf Road at Milwaukee Avenue. Starting today, major construction will begin on the Eden Spur, connecting the Tri-State with the Edens Expressway. The stretch between Fingston and the Edens, the roadway will be down to one lane in both directions till the end of the year. So consider that when planning your travels in that area. Right now, the expressways and tollways throughout the region look pretty good. It'll be a major weekend for festivals with closures. Grant Park for Lollapalooza setup. Lollapalooza doesn't start till August 5th. Also, Cermak is blocked in Pilsen between Ashland and Morgan for Fiesta del Sol. And in Whiting, 119th is closed off now. Indianapolis Boulevard for Kyotogi Fest. Traffic Service of Unbound.org and places around the world are elders who long for community, connection, and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who has helped us all build a better world. Meet one at Unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sunshine, high 80. Tonight, a moonlit sky, low 61. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 77. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 60. Saturday, clouds and sun, high 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
72 at O'Hare, 74 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And the tweet yesterday, per the announcement from President Trump about what was discussed and agreed to in principle with Juncker and the EU on trade. Mr. Proft, how do you like your crow? Deal reached with EU. Funny how tariffs will do that. Yeah. Well, let me suggest for those that are crowing or think I should be eating it about Trump's bad protectionist, neo-mercantilist trade policies. Only in politics does an agreement to work toward, quote unquote, constitute a concrete deal. So I'd suggest you refrigerate the crow, and we'll see if I should heat that up when we actually see substantive reductions in tariff, where we get close to something approximating the zero tariff environment that was discussed when President Trump summarized the meeting.
This is why we agreed today, first of all, to work together towards zero tariffs, zero non-tariff barriers, and zero subsidies on non-auto industrial goods. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, because I'm clapping too. This is exactly the direction that we should be going. The difference is some people think that injuring hostages, meaning American consumers, is the way to leverage American power, when I suggest, as I did yesterday, as former Caterpillar executive suggested, the way to leverage our power was to use the zero tariff club from the beginning.
A lot of people have wanted that from the beginning. Because then it won't affect the consumers, and it won't affect hardworking farmers, steel workers, automakers. Yesterday was a good day.
Wall Street Journal pointing out U.S. economy broken out of its Obama doldrums, growing at faster than 3% for the first time in more than a decade. Trump's trade policies are the biggest threat to that economic progress. That's right. Things are going well. Compliment him on deregulation and tax cuts and much of what he's done. This is an area where I differ with him strategically and tactically. If ultimately there was some short-term pain for the longer-term lower tariff, if not zero tariff environment, then I will applaud him for that too. Not cult of personality, Trump supporters. Cult of policy. Trump went on to describe, though, in a little bit more detail, what was discussed beyond those non-auto industrial goods.
We will also work to reduce barriers and increase trade in services, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, medical products, as well as soybeans. Soybeans is a big deal. And the European Union is going to start almost immediately to buy a lot of soybeans. They're a tremendous market. Buy a lot of soybeans from our farmers.
Well, good. Because that'll reduce, if not eliminate, the necessity for a $12 billion bailout of farmers. Because that's where we were.
Right. And farmers didn't want that. Like, why punish us or help us for a policy that you're implementing?
Wall Street Journal's op-ed again on the topic. The White House will crow, as have some Trump supporters, that Europe blinked. But it's more accurate to say the two sides are stepping back from mutually assured economic destruction. Yeah. Mr. Trump also had ample political and economic incentive to call a truce. The retaliatory tariffs from China, the EU, Mexico, Canada, and Japan are beginning to hurt U.S. farmers and manufacturers, to wit, the $12 billion announcement in terms of buying surplus crops, right, which is a de facto bailout. Trump covered a lot of ground, though. It was the non-auto industrial goods. You heard him talk about ag products, also energy.
It will also make trade fairer and more reciprocal, my favorite word, reciprocal. Secondly, we agreed to a strengthening of our strategic cooperation with respect to energy. The European Union wants to import more liquefied natural gas, LNG, from the United States, and they're going to be a very, very big buyer.
Good. We're the new Saudi Arabia when it comes to natural gas.
We energy independent, energy exporter, reducing tariffs across the board on non-auto industrial goods, as well as you heard services. It is worth pointing out, remember, we're dealing with sort of Democrat socialists in Europe who are protectionists by instinct. So an agreement in principle is a long way from it actually being implemented. Europe has a 10% tariff on U.S.-made cars. The U.S. charges 2.5% on cars made in Europe. So, 4x difference. But the U.S. charges a 25% tariff on imported trucks. Europe wants the U.S. to take that tariff on imported trucks down to zero.
It's so strange, though, the whole auto industry, because some European cars are made here. And if you look at an American car, say from Ford or Jeep Cherokee, 60% of the items in the car are made in America, and the rest of 40% are from different countries, whether they be doorknobs or latches or keyholes. So it's all, I don't think that there's really one American-made vehicle out there that's solely American.
Yeah, the question is, can you convince Ford and U.S. companies that make the bulk of their profits from trucks and SUVs of that?
They're trying to convince the president of that. Like, hey, one held up this doorknob, said, this is made in China. So if you put tariffs on their, steel, that's going to affect us, and the cost of a Jeep Cherokee is going to go up $1,700. So
yes, but the automakers, the U.S. automakers, have not been leading the charge for the reduction of U.S. tariffs on foreign SUVs and trucks. That's the point. So everybody's going to have to give a little bit. The point is that we should set the tone, and Trump should set the tone, as he started to yesterday, to his credit, that the government is not in the business, nor should it ever be, of picking winners and losers, of protecting, quote-unquote protecting, U.S. companies from competition. All that does is dull the competitive edge of the U.S. companies, which is what we saw happen to U.S. automakers in the 70s. So maybe some lessons that should have been known are starting to be learned, and that's a good thing.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
And coming up, one reporter who wasn't at that Rose Garden meeting. What happened to her in a private meeting with Bill Shine? And Sarah Sanders yanked her into a room. But first, here's your forecast today. We are going to have a gorgeous day. Not as warm as yesterday, which is nice. We'll have some clouds and sun, a high of 80 degrees. Then tonight, a moonlit sky, low of 61. And for Friday, partly sunny, pleasant, high of 77. Let's get straight into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Anything on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. So far, so good. No delays to report on the Edens for the Kennedy. Reversibles are open inbound on the Kennedy. The Eisenhower is still fine. Inbound Stevenson now are getting a little bit of a delay between Harlem and Kedzie. It's 37 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound Fonda 34. Inbound Ryan, got a 3-minute delay. Canal Port to the Burns Circle. Outbound, the on-ramp from 87th is closed until 6 this morning. On Bishop Ford, just a little tap of the brakes between Cottage Grove and the Merge. Not too bad yet. Tollways are still okay. No delays to report in northwest Indiana. Starting sometime today, the Eden Spur will be reduced to one lane in both directions between Fingston Road and the Edens Expressway till the end of the year. This will cause quite a bit of congestion in that area. I'm Jim Telemonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Well, it seems like summer just got started, but it's not too soon to be thinking about the fall, at least when it comes to your child's education. Registration for fall enrollment right now for grades 7 to 12 is happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, which is just outside of Milwaukee in Wisconsin. It's now providing young men and women with an outstanding education in preparation for life. There's day boarding or full boarding, and St. John's Northwestern Military Academy immerses young men and women in this culture of leadership that inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual and character development, athletics, and our military traditions, shaping young minds since 1884. As a mom, I sent my sons to summer camp there because St. John's resonates with the values that I want to see my children grow up with. To learn more about fall enrollment or to schedule a visit, just call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
3 guys, week in and week out. And I've never seen anything like what I'm seeing right now.
Kyle Busch is aggressive.
Here comes the 18. He puts the ball in the back of him.
Kevin Harvick. We kind of really didn't like each other and maybe still don't.
Never going to shake Harvick. He is a bulldog.
Martin Truex Jr. just goes out and gets the job done.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who it is. I want to beat him.
I'd still like to think nobody can beat me.
The Gander Outdoors 400 from Pocono, Sunday, 2:30 Eastern on NBCSN.
You know, I've been getting a lot of feedback from social media. You want to hear some quotes? Every time I hear that annoying voice of Jimmy from Zipa, I want to tear my ears off my head. You see the hypocrisy here, people? First of all, you got to listen to my commercial for maybe 60 seconds. But what about that person snoring next to you all night long? That person sleeping next to you, they can't turn your mouth or your nose down, can they? No, they got to go sleep on the couch. Get this fixed. ZYPPAH.com. Zipa.com.
Remember this promise from Barack Obama?
And if you already have health care, then we're going to reduce costs an average of $2,500 per family on premiums.
The truth is, premiums in the individual under 65 market have more than doubled since the ACA exchanges opened in 2014, especially for the millions of Americans who do not qualify for subsidies. If you're healthy and do not need coverage for pre-existing conditions, premiums are much lower in the non-ACA health insurance market. These policies will keep you consistently insured all year long, and they include a nationwide PPO. And there's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com. That's healthinsurancementors.com. Or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Hi, my name is Bob Gottfried. Together with my sons Jim and Jay Gottfried, we own and operate the Erie LaSalle Body Shops in Chicago. Our 2 repair centers are located at 1005 West Huron Street on the corner of Huron and Milwaukee, and at 2440 South Kedzie. We are the longest family-owned collision repair shop in the state of Illinois. Our mission is to minimize the disruption in our clients' lives due to the accident. No collision repair facility has invested more into the advanced technology and training as Erie LaSalle. We've achieved the coveted ICAR Gold training designation, which only 10% of the shops nationwide have achieved. We offer intelligent, professional repair and claim service, and we are insurance friendly. But make no mistake, we work for you to put your car together the way it's supposed to be. Don't let a second accident happen by taking your vehicle to the wrong repair shop. Get it done right the first time at Erie LaSalle Body Shop and Car Care Centers. Please visit ErieLaSalle.com or call 312-337-3903. We've been there for 84 years for your convenience.
The Daily Herald Business Ledger C-Suite Awards are this Thursday, July 26th, honoring the leadership, business, and civic business leaders that have made it to their organizations and to the suburban Chicago community. Register to attend the Daily Herald Business Ledger C-Suite Awards ceremony at the Northern Illinois University Naperville campus. Find out all the details at dhbusinessledger.com. That's dhbusinessledger.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So this dumb suite on a plane. Dumb suite on a plane.
Is this the beginning of a joke?
No, it's a description of reality. It's a description of Eileen
Do you need help?
Urson.
I speak Swedish. Let me.
A student at the University of Gothenburg.
It's Gothenburg. You sound like you're from Chicago.
Gothenburg.
Yeah, okay. Over there. What's her name? Lenai?
Eileen.
Like
Eileen Nordigan.
Yeah, Eileen.
Urson. No.
From Gothenburg.
You sound like you're doing like a Sacha Baron Cohen caricature of a Swedish person.
But no, that's how they pronounce it. It's a sing-a-song.
Right. I saw the Muppets. I got it. I got the
where's
Swedish
my
chef.
favorite Swedish chef?
She refused to take her seat on a plane.
Why? Because there was a snake on a plane?
No.
Why would she refuse? We're so compliant.
Because there was an Afghanistan male on a plane who was being deported by the Swedes, by the Swedish government.
Okay. Did it sound like this?
Yeah. I mean, it did sound like that,
That
actually.
was real audio from inside the plane.
And that also sounded like you pronouncing these names I just mentioned. The flight from...
Oh, gosh. Okay, give it a shot.
Gothenburg.
to...
to Turkey.
Turkey!
Yeah. It's universal.
Chicago accent.
The plane can't take off. Pilot can't take off if she doesn't sit down.
Well, why wouldn't anybody exchange seats with her? Huh?
She didn't want to sit down. She was protesting. Because if this guy goes to Afghanistan, he's going to be killed, and so he shouldn't be deported.
Oh, she was one of those social justice warriors.
I'm holding up the whole. She thinks she's Susan B. Anthony there on the plane.
What I'm all saying is that I'm not going to sit down until this person is off the plane. Because he will most likely get killed if he is on this plane when it goes up. And the pilot has the right to say that he is not allowed to be on the plane. And as long as he is not on the plane, then I will comply. But I don't want a man's life to be taken away just because you don't want to miss your flight.
Can you please turn it off, first of all? Because now you are an unruly passenger. You are not doing what you have to do on board. Okay?
I'm doing what I can to save a person's life.
She's a hero.
As long as a person is standing up, and if more people are standing up, then the pilot can't take off. So all I want to do is to stop the deportation, and then I will comply with the rules here.
Yeah.
Ladies, sit down, because all we want to do is go home.
I have to go home. I have to go home. I have to go home.
It's too bad she didn't get Dr. David Dowd, but so here's what happened. Then they ultimately started removing the guy's stuff from the plane, took him off the plane. What? She starts crying like she's actually affected. She saved a man's life.
Another plane that leaves 3 hours later that I'm sure he was on.
Precisely. And that's what happened when he got back to Afghanistan, per her greatest fear.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A body cam video of another police-involved shooting in Chicago released to much criticism. We'll talk about it at 5:38.
And the White House bans a CNN reporter from an event for doing her job. And Fox News, we'll get their reaction to that, too. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
73 degrees. We've had some light rain showers in the area this morning and articles to impeach. A Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, are now in place. The movement spearheaded by Representatives Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows out of the House Freedom Caucus. Fox News reporter Griff Jenkins has breaking details on this story for us this morning from Washington.
The clock is ticking on this story, but it was frustration over delays in document production by the DOJ that led the House Freedom Caucus chairman, Mark Meadows, to file these articles of impeachment. He was joined by 10 other Republicans. Now, Meadows' accusations are withholding documents and communications, stonewalling deadlines, defying subpoenas, and engaging in potential FISA abuse. Apparently, it was the release of that FISA application last weekend that was the final straw in this decision. Joining Meadows was Congressman Jim Jordan.
Fox's Griff Jenkins outside of Washington, D.C. this morning. In order for the impeachment effort to succeed, the process would now have to be approved by a majority of the House and backed by 2/3 of the Senate. The U.S. Embassy in Beijing says it was an explosion that was the work of one person. Spokesperson says a man detonated a bomb outside of the embassy, but again only injured himself. Some of the most popular parts of Yosemite National Park are closed for the next few days because of a deadly wildfire burning near the western edge of that park. American Airlines is changing the way that it refers to Taiwan in order to appease the Chinese government. Carrier joined United and Delta in making the change by the Wednesday deadline. The website now refers to the Taipei airport by its city name and airport code without mentioning Taiwan, bowing to pressure from China. A 17-year veteran of the Milwaukee Police Department is dead, shot by a suspect wanted on drug and gun charges.
The officers approached. They did encounter the suspect at the residence, and the suspect fired shots at our Milwaukee police officers.
Milwaukee Police Chief Alfonso Morales, a witness, said the man yelled he wasn't going back to jail before opening fire on officers as they approached yesterday afternoon. Bond set at $300,000 for the man charged in a wheeling crash last weekend that took the life of a Mount Prospect teen. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner will not be on the stage when President Trump arrives in the Metro East. The governor said earlier this week he will not be in Granite City with the president later today. A 3-year-old girl and her father remain in stable condition this morning following a shooting on Chicago's South Side near 48th and Walcott. And for your entertainment enjoyment, one of the most popular television shows ever may get a reboot. Frasier. Kelsey Grammer reportedly is in early stage meetings with writers and producers to explore the idea. Entertainment Tonight says the project, again, is in early stages. Frasier ran for 11 seasons from 1993 to 2004 and won 37 Emmys. Cubs beat the Diamondbacks 2-1. Mike Trout 2 home runs in the Angels' 11-3 win over the White Sox. The news service of Unbound.org. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision, continue their dream of education, or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a new story. See Potential Not Poverty at Unbound.org. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants to see the proof that Russian hacking actually influenced the election.
I get it. If you're miserable about the Trump presidency, you sit around and you say, if only. Did anything Russia did help Hillary get defeated? Now prove it. Show me a vote that was changed because of Russia. And then what are we going to do about it? You going to undo the election?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
A business needs to be built on a great foundation, one with the framework of integrity and tradition. With the experience of 3 generations of master builders, that's what Tyler Lane Construction wants to recreate on your next project. Their approach starts with TLC's veteran project managers, seasoned, hands-on professionals who understand job site issues. With a rock-solid foundation for your success, they'll handle the intricacies of project admin and coordination of work crews. Tyler Lane Construction employs state-of-the-art safety measures and strict adherence to budgets and schedules. And just like you, their project managers take extra pride in the work they do because every project needs TLC. See for yourself at TylerLaneInc.com. Ignite the vision for your own commercial renovation by clicking on the project videos to see the award-winning upgrade of Lane Tech High School, the renovation of the Harper College Engineering and Tech Center, and more. For your restoration project or new construction, you deserve TLC. Visit TylerLaneInc.com to get started. That's TylerLaneInc.com.
5:36 in Chicago. Let's get an update on the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eisenhower. Traffic's heavy now from 17th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. It's 31 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. No delays yet on the Edens to the Kennedy. Stevenson inbound. Heavy 83 to County Line and Harlem to Kedzie. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's fine. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopford 19. Northbound Tri-State, speeds are reduced a bit in that roadwork zone between the Reagan Tollway and the Grand Avenue Curve. Not seeing any real backups yet. The other tollways, mostly good. Veterans Memorial, though, a little bit of congestion. Northbound Butterfield to Roosevelt. Southbound St. Charles to 22nd, also some work in that area. Traffic Service of Unbound.org. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who have a name. Know the person you are helping directly at Unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Not as warm, clouds and sunshine, and again we've had a few light rain showers crossing the area this early morning. We'll have a high near 80 and a moonlit sky and 61 overnight. Currently 72 at O'Hare, 74 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, COPA, released another video yesterday. This was of a fatal shooting last month of 24-year-old Maurice Granton Jr. by a Chicago police officer. Remember, they're on a 60-day deadline to release those videos. This occurred, the release of this video 11 days before that 60-day deadline. The video is showed to Granton's family first and released to the public.
And it's graphic, but this is before the shooting. This one in pursuit. They're chasing him.
Come here, man.
Who's grunting is a police officer who is injured trying to climb a fence to get to him, but he hears his fellow officers shooting at Maurice Grant.
Later, shots fired, yes.
And he makes the call.
6-4. Send me an ambulance. 314. 314 on 47. I have not been shot. I'm just injured. I need an ambulance.
And after that, So that's what the family saw first, and then this is when they're recovering a gun from the alleged victim.
Get down. Stay down. Stay down.
They're still telling him to stay down.
Stay down. Stay down. It's a weapon right there. Weapon right there. Get the weapon. Go get the weapon. I have not been shot. Weapon right there. Weapon right there. Stay down, man. 14 East 47th Street. Weapon right there. Stay back. Stay back. No one's hurt over here. No one's hurt over here. All right. No one's hurt over here. Send an ambulance for the offender. Get the weapon. Get the weapon. Get the gun. Get the gun. Get back. Get back.
Are we at 314 East 47th or 40th? 264?
You see your homie right there? You see your homie side? You see your homie? You see the gun? He shot?
So people, Maurice's friends started gathering. Obviously, they were not happy. A woman was screaming, "Where's my boo?" And the family says that he was murdered for no reason.
All right, a few facts here. This was in the context of a narcotics investigation in the area when police said Granton ran from them, and that's when officers gave chase, told him to stop. Police said that's when he pulled out a weapon, and an armed encounter between the offender and the police ensued, resulting in Granton being shot in the back and killed. It is not clear the 4 gunshots, where the shots come from. The first could have been fired by Granton, followed by 3 shots from police. That's not clear, at least not from the body cam video. And police documents, along with the video release, show the officer who shot Granton reported he was fired at first.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an issue that is at minimum in dispute.
And he's climbing a fence. Do you see that? He was on his,
Yes.
like a wrought iron fence trying to get out when he was shot in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And that shot 2 other times. The family's attorney maintains, no, we don't know the information you just provided. They didn't hear that.
They claim that there was an armed confrontation that day. Well, tell us what the armed confrontation was so that this family can have some peace.
No, it was drugs.
Tell us what the armed confrontation was. The armed confrontation was we were conducting a narcotics investigation. Yeah. He ran from us. He had a gun. They allege he fired. In the video that was released, they do show a gun being recovered in the field. Now, you can conjure up conspiracy theories to say it was a drop gun, it was planted, this and that, but I'm telling you what's on the video. So that's
what they
know.
think, that the gun was planted. They don't trust police.
It's the most terrible feeling you can ever feel, to see one of your children killed, and especially by a policeman who's supposed to serve and protect him.
Mm-hmm. Granton was the father of 2, but he, and again,
24 years old.
He was turning his life around. He did have a criminal record for theft, burglary, at minimum. This is ABC 7 reporting, by the way, on the topic. So, that's what we know. Will this be treated like the Augusta shooting? Will this be the spark for more protests in the city? I don't know, but the police are releasing these videos, and then you're to try to divine what happened. You hear one side of the story, you hear some assertions by people who don't trust police, and the family obviously is distraught. I kind of set them aside in a different category. I don't really want to comment on them. I understand they lost their son, and this is traumatic and difficult. So I'm not really passing comment on the family, just on the facts as we know them.
But it seems clear-cut to me from watching this video repeatedly that Chicago police did the right thing. So that's, why there is body cam video. And that's why they're standing here like, there's a gun. And you see the officer, he's not going for it. He's videotaping, with his body cam, the gun that's on the ground.
I mean,
it's hard to be a police officer. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to do it.
I hate to be a bit of a broken record on this, but he fled from police.
Right. What's the number one thing you're supposed to do, Dan? Stop and drop your weapon.
Just follow police orders.
Put your hands up.
Even if you have a weapon, even if you have, you have a weapon. There's no indication he had drugs on him. I'm just saying that because of the narcotics investigation. So even if he did, no indication. But even if you're afraid you're going to be charged with you've done something illegal, you have a gun illegally, or whatever, you're afraid you're going to get charged. Is it worth putting your life on the line? And I always go to the critics of the police, kind of the reflexive critics of the police. The police can't be trusted. They're this racist institution, so on and so forth. Well, if that's true, that would be even more reason not to resist, wouldn't it? That would be even more incentive to surrender, so that the case could be adjudicated, particularly in the era of body cam videos and dash cam videos, where there'll be videographic evidence that will, at least in part, act as an accountability mechanism for police. So the worse opinion you have of the police, the more incentive you should have to comply with their orders, right?
Right, but the opposite seems to be happening. And then you have his friends running in like, you shot my boo.
Well,
why'd you gun him down? I mean, that was...
Civilian Office of Police Accountability. It'll be interesting to hear, yet again, from the civilian political authorities with respect to police and whether they're going to back the play based on the outcomes of these investigations, or they're going to bend to the professional agitators, the flaggers of the world and the like.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
New action figures available for baby boomers. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Not as warm today. Less some clouds and sun, a pleasant high of 80 degrees. Tonight, a moonlit sky, a low of 61. And for Friday, partly sunny, pleasant, a high of 77. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Tri-State northbound. We're seeing delays now from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower and from the Grand Avenue curve to Irving Park. Veterans Memorial southbound at Tevi, St. Charles to 22nd Street, and northbound Butterfield to Roosevelt with the construction zone there. Edens is fine. Kennedy, heavy now 190 to Canfield. 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown, up on 21. Eisenhower, 36 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Mission 420, Northwest Indiana's clear. Jim Talamonte, the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, with the recent rainy weather, Permaseal is working hard to keep and help homeowners across the Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana, but they need your help. Permaseal is hiring in all departments. Listen up, especially sales, customer service, and installation. Maybe I'll go over to Permaseal. I'd like to be an installator. They're looking for people with great work ethic, who have ambition, positive attitude, want to learn new skills, and have a desire to make the world a better, drier place. Does this sound like you? Then go to permaseal.net/careers to apply today. No experience is needed. Permaseal will teach you to become an expert in waterproofing and foundation repair. Now, their experienced team offers great training, year-round work, tremendous growth opportunities, and a great, fun work environment. To apply, go to permaseal.net/careers. Now, if you're looking for a career change or a dry basement, call Permaseal 1-800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-SEAL, or go to permaseal.net.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, You have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
How do you manage risk? True North Companies has a team of trusted advisors concentrated in employee benefits, workers' comp, and property casualty insurance that focus on offering innovative solutions to meet the needs of companies throughout the Midwest. True North's unique process, the Enterprise Navigator, goes beyond simply placing your insurance. The team works with companies like yours to evaluate compliance, manage risk, and help you seek financial savings by addressing education, finance transfer, technology, wellness, and claims management. Some companies calculate risk better than others. Do what you can to ensure all factors of the equation are accounted for by working with True North. To learn more or to request a no-obligation risk management assessment, visit TrueNorthCompanies.com or call 847-699-1400. True North Companies, unique services, innovative solutions. True North Companies proudly sponsors AM 560's charity golf outing, benefiting the 100 Club of Chicago, providing financial relief and college scholarships to families of first responders who lost their lives in the line of duty.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about that CPD shooting body cam video released yesterday. Chris in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I'm going to say something that's going to sound very, very racially discriminating, if you will, but it's the absolute truth. Instead of spending millions of dollars on parks so you can have midnight basketball, why don't we take these monies, put it in the school system, a civic center, whatever, and teach black youth how to properly submit to an officer when there is a confrontation, because I totally believe that the parents aren't teaching their kids how to do this when they're confronted with police. Their reaction is causing most of these problems when they just take off and run a different direction, and then now we have a confrontation between the police and whoever the person they're trying to talk to on the street.
All right, thanks for the call, Chris. Yeah, I mean,
we used to have Officer Friendly come to school to teach us how to ride a bike and bike safety.
how many schools in CPS have school resource officers on site?
A lot of. I mean, I know Amundsen, I saw 2 of them there.
I mean, it presumes a lot of things. It presumes the kids are going to school. That's a presumption that doesn't necessarily hold in all cases, particularly with these kids that have decided to pursue a life in street gangs. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe some kind of CPD program in conjunction with CPS. I mean, I don't know that it would really require much money. But it's a cultural thing. I mean, it's a trust thing. I just go back again to say, take the worst impression you have of police. You're the most skeptical person about police. Work the logic. That should give you the most reason
the
to
most
comply.
incentive to comply. If they say put your hands up, put your hands up.
Just work the logic.
If you get pulled over, put your hands on the steering wheel or on the dashboard.
I know where we could find some money, though.
Where?
Aldermanic pensions.
Oh, boy. How bad are they?
15 former Chicago aldermen are collecting 6-figure pensions.
What?
See, the city has a $36 billion unfunded pension liability problem. 38 former elected Chicago officials currently receiving pensions. 15 former aldermen see yearly payouts in excess of $100,000, and another handful are just a couple of dollars short of that on an annualized basis.
I guess Dick Mel.
Dick Mel, $103,000.
Hansen. Bernie Hansen, remember him? He was there before Tom Tunney took over.
Bernie Hansen.
Is it Bernie Hansen?
No.
He's a retired alderman.
Bernie Stone?
No, he's retired too.
Oh.
Hold on, I'll find out.
Oh, yeah. Bernard
Yeah.
Hansen. Yeah. $105,000. Yeah.
And then when he retired, I'd walk into Tom Tunney's office and he'd still have a desk there.
Dorothy Tillman, $108,000. I mean,
Whoa.
so they've paid out so far. So Bernie Hansen's been paid out $1.3 million. Dorothy
What?
Tillman, $1 million. Bert Nateris, $1 million. Bill Beavers, the hog with the big nuts, you'll remember him.
Oh, yeah.
Convicted felon, $1.1 million. William Banks, $907,000, $115,000 a year. Bill Banks. Ed Smith, $112,000 a year, $770 paid out so far. Richie Daly.
What do we?
He's only at 81 grand, but he's only 7 years into his pension. $526,000 has been paid out to Richie Daly so far.
Oh my gosh!
These are jobs that shouldn't have a pension. So here's a good place to start to scrape together some cash for higher and better uses than paying these politicians millions of dollars in guaranteed pension benefits for being part of destroying this great city of Chicago.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Every business owner knows that digital marketing is crucial to your success. Getting the most from your online marketing budget and quantifying and analyzing those results are issues nearly all companies face. Dave Rohr, Northside Metrics founder and co-host of the Business of Digital podcast, not only shares your values, but also knows how to answer those tricky digital marketing questions. Whether you need a full-service digital agency or you want support for your in-house team, Dave and the Northside Metrics team are your digital marketing experts. Northside Metrics can help your business with PPC, SEO, SMO, or any of the other acronyms you hear about. They can also help you understand your analytics and craft a plan of action based on the data, not just whims. Northside Metrics creates custom plans that help you reach your business goals and still fit your budget. And for the record, nothing is outsourced or offshored. Ready to learn more? Call Dave Rohr, toll free at 844-406-6784 or visit northsidemetrics.com. northsidemetrics.com.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
5:57 on AM 560. It is time for a dry basement and a healthy home, and time to call Permaseal 800-421-SEAL. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Starting sometime today, the Eden Spur will be cut down to one lane in both directions between Kingston Road and the Edens till the end of the year. Right now, the Eden Spur and the Edens itself both looking fine. Kennedy runs 22 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Eisenhower, 37 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, heavy in pockets from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Traffic, serviceofunbound.org. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. An elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, a blend of clouds and sun with a high of 80. A moonlit sky for tonight with a low 61. Then we'll have partial sunshine throughout the day tomorrow with a high 77. And at night, it will turn out to be partly cloudy with a low 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
72 right now at O'Hare. The news, a service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. Choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio, compassion.com/radio. 5:59, here are the stories we're following on AM 560. The Answer. Bond set at $300,000 for a man charged in a wheeling crash last weekend that took the life of a Mount Prospect teen. Lawyers for a Chicago police officer charged with murder in the fatal shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald do not want the judge presiding over their case to decide a change of venue. An HBO documentary about Sandra Bland is set to air in December on that cable network. Chicago sports found the Cubs over the Diamondbacks 2-1 at Wrigley Field. Mike Trout had 2 home runs and drove in 4. Angels 11-3 winners over the White Sox in Anaheim. Bears continuing training camp with another round of practice this morning in Bourbonnais. More Dan and Amy after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
They've had enough with Rod Rosenstein. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's either we hold him in contempt, or we get the documents, or we impeach him.
And Congressman Mark Meadows has chosen to file for impeachment, claiming the Deputy Attorney General has been stonewalling their attempts to get answers about the Trump-Russia investigation, though the Justice Department says it has provided 800,000 documents. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, 11 House Republicans are on board with the effort to impeach Rod Rosenstein as they accuse the Justice Department of abusing the FISA court system and ignoring subpoenas. GOP Congressman Jim Jordan.
We're tired of the Justice Department giving us the finger and not giving us the information we're entitled to do our constitutional duty.
Rosenstein has said he's not keeping information from Congress. It's not clear whether lawmakers will consider the resolution before they leave for recess. Democrats say the impeachment effort is a direct attack on Robert Mueller's Russia probe. Dave?
Rachel, President Trump will travel this morning to Iowa, where farmers have been worried about retaliatory tariffs on American crops and ongoing U.S. trade disputes. He'll then go to Illinois, where he made steel workers happy with his tariffs on imported steel. This the day after what he called a positive meeting with the European Commission president.
This was a very big day for free and fair trade.
The EU has agreed to import more American soybeans and natural gas, and both sides will re-examine tariffs. A police officer shot and killed in Milwaukee.
This is not the Milwaukee that I grew up in. This is not the Milwaukee that I know. This is chaos.
An officer confronted a suspect wanted on gun and drug violations, but that man reportedly said, "I'm not going back to jail," and started shooting. The officer later died. The gunman was taken into custody. Amid President Trump's attempt to get North Korea to give up nuclear weapons, a push to get remains of U.S. service members killed in the Korean War returned, and a U.S. official tells Fox the remains of 55 will be handed over tomorrow. Fox News, fair and balanced.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
I'm Devin. I deliver sandwiches for Jimmy John's.
Freaktown, population Devin.
We'll deliver one sandwich.
Minimum freak.
Or hundreds of sandwiches.
Infinity freak.
However many you want.
You're mayor of Freaktown, Devin. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
I'm Tammy. I get to Jimmy John's early every day.
Freak-a-doodle-doo!
To bake bread fresh.
Freak-a-doodle-do!
And we keep on baking throughout the day, so it's always fresh for our customers. That's all.
Toodaloo, freak-a-doo! Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah!
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology actively invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you, the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and it's fascinating. The same guy who surrounded himself with the likes of Michael Cohen now surrounds himself with the likes of Mike Pompeo and James Mattis and others. I don't know. Maybe it's a better class of swamp in D.C. than in the New York real estate swamp.
And then I have hope because I really like Mike Pompeo and I trust him. But then he hires Bill Shine. So, there's good days and there's bad days. It's like a roller coaster ride.
Mike Pompeo was before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee yesterday talking about North Korea, talking about the Trump-Putin meeting, talking about a lot of things. One of the more interesting exchanges was with Bob Corker, the chairman, who, hey, Mike, we really like you. It's not you, it's the other guy.
Much of what you're hearing today has nothing whatsoever to do with you, and I would agree with you that the policies that we're putting in place in many cases are stronger than have ever been put in place. I agree with you. It's the president that causes people to have concerns.
Well, Bob Corker wasn't having any of it except for agreement about the policies are stronger in certain areas than they've ever been.
When we, in fact, have tremendous faith in you. I think you're a patriot. Tremendous faith in Mattis. But it's the president's actions that create tremendous distrust in our nation, among our allies. It's palpable. We meet and talk with them. Is there a strategy to this, or is it what is it that causes the president to purposely create distrust in these institutions and what we're doing?
Senator, I disagree with most of what you just said there. You somehow disconnect the administration's activities from the president's actions. They're the one and the same. Every sanction that was put in place was signed off by the President of the United States. Every spy that was removed was directed by the President
Go to
of the
the
United
points
States.
I just made. Go to the points I just made.
I mean,
talk to them. Talk to them. I know what we're doing. Talk to the points I just made.
Here's what the world needs to know.
Okay.
With respect to Russia, this administration has been tougher than previous administrations, and I fully expect it will. The President's own words were, he's happy to figure out if we can make improvements with respect to the relationship between he and Vladimir Putin and change the course. But if not, he'll be their, I'll get the words wrong, he'll be their toughest enemy, most difficult enemy. I think I can prove that that's the case today. I think I have.
Yeah.
And so somehow there's this idea that this administration is free-floating. This is President Trump's administration, make no mistake, who's fully in charge of this and who is directing each of these activities that has caused Vladimir Putin to be in a very difficult place today.
And he also got Corker to concede something about some of those statements that caused such consternation among people like, Bob Corker.
I talk to the same allies you do. I speak to their foreign ministers directly. It is the case that they are behaving differently today. There's no doubt about that. They are now scrambling to figure out how to make sure that they are fully part of NATO. Some of that is a result of the statements that you referred to, Senator.
Yeah.
Some of that is identifying Nord Stream 2 as a problem.
I actually agree with that. I agree with that.
Right. These are the well. There you go. I'll let the record reflect.
I'll say
some of these statements actually achieve important policy outcomes for the United States of America.
Some of them do.
Some of them do. Trump is asymmetrical, even if it's not always intentional, perhaps.
But all they wanted to know was what was said in the meeting, in the private meeting. Did you talk to the translator? Did you? And he's like, people always have one-on-one meetings. And I know he confronted Corker and Menendez saying, you've had one-on-one meetings before, haven't you? He was, he was defending himself from the right and on the left.
Yeah, but what he did a nice job of is focusing back on what the policy of the administration is, rather than the politics that, of course, senators want to play when they're before the cameras in a high-profile hearing. For more on Mike Pompeo's performance, both at the hearing and the administration's performance and all of these threats facing the West, including Russia and North Korea, but not limited to those, we're pleased to be joined by Michael Rubin, resident scholar for the American Enterprise Institute, author of books including Dancing with the Devil and Kurdistan Rising. Michael, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks. Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Morning. So what of the back and forth between Pompeo and various senators on both sides of the aisle yesterday on the range of topics that were covered?
Well, I think there's two issues here, especially when it comes to Russia, which, of course, dominates discussion in Washington. On one hand, there is a great deal of Trump derangement syndrome. It's absolutely correct for Trump to say, or Mike Pompeo to say, that Trump has been tougher on Russia in many ways than some of his predecessors. You had Bush looking into Vladimir Putin's eyes and seeing the soul. That all led to the invasion of Georgia. And then you had you had Barack Obama ignoring all that, trying to have a reset, which continued long after Russia invaded the Ukraine, buzzed California with bombers, and ultimately cheated on the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty and all that. And you have Trump, on the other hand, who has sanctioned a key Russian figure on average once every 3 days. And, of course, you had the strike in Syria, which killed 200 Russian special forces, even though they were called contractors at the time. That's toughness. But here's the problem. Trump talks about winning, and there is a real legitimate question, bipartisan, on the part of Republicans and Democrats who are concerned that Trump's strategy with Putin isn't winning, and it's the job of the Senate to basically ask those questions.
He did state clearly, Mike Pompeo, that Trump understands Russia did meddle in our elections. Was that a satisfying answer to the question?
Well, I mean, it's not just, Amy, it's not just the meddling in the elections. That is understood, and that satisfies that. That's what I'm getting into, and I'm not saying this with regard to you. A lot of the public discourse is being distracted by this. Russia often meddles in elections, but ultimately it didn't change the outcome. The reason why Hillary Clinton lost is Hillary Clinton ran a poor campaign. But when Donald Trump sits down with Vladimir Putin is as Machiavellian as Machiavelli. There's a real concern when they go into a one-on-one meeting that the strategy isn't there on the part of Donald Trump to get what Donald Trump hopes to achieve. That's why there's so much concern. And what Mike Pompeo and Donald Trump need to show is that this strategy isn't just a matter of being tough on Putin every now and then, but moving forward, what is actually the strategy? You know, when we look at Ronald Reagan's era, Ronald Reagan spent about 5 years building up the U.S. military in Europe before sitting down and negotiating with Mikhail Gorbachev. In the Reykjavik summit back in 1986, Ronald Reagan walked away from the summit when he didn't feel that he was going to get what he needed. That's what we're contrasting Donald Trump's performance to. And the question is Donald Trump, who is effusive with praise, and that may just be part of his personal strategy with foreign leaders, is he willing to, when push comes to shove, walk away? And that's what personally makes me nervous.
The answers on North Korea that Mike Pompeo gave in exchanges with Boston Brahmin Ed Markey, who was essentially trying to convey that, decommissioning this missile testing site is not a big deal. this is Kim Jong-un playing Trump. This is things we've seen before. And Pompeo was essentially guardedly optimistic. He said, look, here's the things that are happening towards North Korean nuclearization. You can rest easy, Senator. We know who Kim Jong-un is. We have no illusions about him. I'm just telling you kind of what the reality on the ground is and the process that we're pursuing in furtherance of this goal that most people have thought was unreachable and may still be. Were you satisfied with kind of Pompeo's sober answer to some of Markey's propagandizing?
Well, yes. Look, I'm not as effusive towards the process we have with North Korea as perhaps members of the Trump administration are. But Mike Pompeo, he was first in his class at West Point. He was director of the Central Intelligence Agency. He absolutely knows what he's up against. What I worry about isn't Mike Pompeo's competence, and Mike Pompeo is absolutely correct in his answers, but there's a tendency across administrations, and perhaps it's psychological to some extent among leadership and politicians, that when their legacy is at stake, they want to always see the glass as half full. And sometimes it's important to understand it's half empty and it's draining further. The problem with North Korea traditionally hasn't been its willingness every now and then to make a concession. It's that North Korea likes to embrace broad concepts without actually getting nailed down to the specifics. And when push comes to shove, it's the specifics that we worry about. Look, I mean, the one thing, I'm a historian, so I get paid to predict the past, and some people might say I only get that right half the time. But remember, in the George H.W. Bush administration, in 1992, there was something called the Denuclearization Declaration with North Korea. Brent Scowcroft, who was the national security advisor at the time, wrote about it as a triumph of the elder Bush's quiet diplomacy, and what it basically led to. We offered concessions, for example, taking nuclear weapons out of South Korea, stopping military exercises, and so forth, and North Korea was supposed to denuclearize, and not only did they not do that, they pushed forward to the point where they have nuclear weapons. And so there's, again, a lot of concern about whether the U.S. strategy is going to lead to us winning. Now, if we compare this with the Obama administration, the Iran deal, which was a political agreement rather than a treaty, look, I also do think it's healthy that when we're talking about things that rise to the challenge of Russia or North Korea, that the administration should put these before the Senate as a treaty, and that therefore the negotiations have to be tight enough to rise to that standard. And let's hope that instead of pushing the Senate aside like the Obama administration did, the Trump administration actually uses this to their advantage in negotiations to tell our adversaries, whether Russia or North Korea, that we can't make these concessions because the Senate won't go along with it unless you do this, this, and this.
Well,
That's
right.
what, I mean, this can be a matter of strength rather than a matter of weakness in our strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it always right. We're the world's lone superpower, and it always seems like we do internationally what our Congress does domestically. We'll increase spending now, and we'll worry. I mean, excuse me. We'll cut taxes now, and we'll worry about reducing spending, at some point in the not too distant future. Or we'll increase taxes now, and we'll worry about reducing spending in sometime in the not too distant future. It's always the goodie or the thing that either Republicans want or Democrats want, but not what the American people want. And it's sort of the same thing here. Is you give specific performance on the things that you must do, and you can count on us to hold up our end, making them comply or hold up their end before we do.
Well, I think you're absolutely right there. And look, while I'm worried about U.S. outreach to so-called rogue regimes, because the whole nature of a rogue regime is it doesn't abide by the norms of diplomacy, what Trump is doing right, even though he's getting pilloried for it on the press and in Capitol Hill, is he's basically saying there are no sacred cows. We're not going to continue to sweep many of these problems under the rug. And one of those big problems, which Trump was absolutely correct on, was NATO members shirking their responsibility to pay for NATO. It's not a U.S. responsibility only. It's a joint responsibility for joint defense, and that somehow has gotten forgotten against the backdrop of sophistication, of so-called sophistication in Washington. The other thing which has always driven me nuts, as someone, I haven't served in the military, but I was there during the Iraq War, was when Europeans who weren't paying in or participating or putting their blood and treasure on the line would want an equal say in the diplomatic outcomes that the United States would get when the United States was willing to make those sacrifices. If you want to say in the outcome, you got to be able to be willing to make those sacrifices in times of peace. And Donald Trump is absolutely right to hold NATO's feet to the fire on that.
Speaking of President Trump and Putin, what is the latest with their meeting? They're going to postpone it till next year, or there's other reports out this morning saying that Putin never responded to President Trump's invitation to come to Washington?
Well, put it this way. I don't have a crystal ball on this, and the nature of diplomacy and politics in Washington right now could give any observer whiplash. That said, it was curious that if President Putin was going to come to Washington, he was going to come right before the midterm elections. That would put a focus on some of the issues which truly, it would truly dominate the conversation. That said, if it raises attention to any foreign meddling in our elections, that itself is important. But there's a few things out there that, again, when it comes to the meddling in our elections, need to be remembered. Number one is when people say 17 U.S. intelligence agencies have all come to the conclusion, that's nonsense. I mean, yes, Russia was trying to meddle, but the Coast Guard Intelligence Agency, which is one of those 17, wasn't involved in this sort of thing. And the nature that all 17 intelligence agencies were somehow coming to this consensus is nonsense. That's what we need to remember. Also, with 37 different voting systems, there's no evidence that Russia changed any votes. If people are going to believe fake news, that's a matter for U.S. education. We can't infantilize the American public in the way that so many in Washington or so many at CNN and so forth seem to want to do.
He is Michael Rubin, resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, the author of books including Dancing with the Devil and Kurdistan Rising. Michael, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Amy.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Naked jumping jacks at McDonald's? But first, here's your forecast. Come on, up two, hey. Not as warm today. We're going to have some clouds and sun, as you can see, a high of 80 degrees. Tonight, a moonlit sky, a low of 61, so you maybe can turn off the air and open up your windows. And Friday looks pretty good. Partly sunny, pleasant, a high of 77. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. South side of Chicago, Garfield is blocked off between Ashland and Marshfield for shooting investigation. Lakemore, Sullivan Lake Road has been closed off by police between Four Seasons Boulevard and 1259, where they come together. Not sure the reason Sullivan Lake Road is closed. Eden's inbound, little tight Foster to Montrose. 20 minutes, Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 19. On the Kennedy, we're looking at 26 minutes now from O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 24. Inbound Eisenhower delay started St. Charles. 48 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Outbound 33. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Ryan is 29 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 19 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go from the Cermak Toll Plaza to Balmoral. Adams Memorial, heavy northbound Butterfield to Roosevelt. Southbound North Avenue to Roosevelt. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
You've seen the ads on TV. You've seen the store shelves. Yes, people are getting ready with back-to-school supplies. And the school year may seem like a million years from now for your kids, but it's actually just around the corner. And maybe this summer you've been rethinking about sending your kids to public school. Things are changing in our public schools and not always for the better. So now might be the time to consider sending your child to a private school, and you could do it for half the price of regular tuition. There's no catch. Thanks to our good friends at halfpriceschools.com. Go onto their website, purchase that tuition voucher, and prepare to send your kid off to school this fall. It's really simple. There's schools located all over the Chicagoland area, plus Northwest Indiana. Calvin Christian School in South Holland. Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights. Love that place. There's Daystar School in Chicago. The list goes on and on. But don't delay. School will begin in a matter of weeks. So visit halfpriceschools.com. And remember that many of these vouchers have already sold out, so do not wait. Halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
My husband's blood pressure has dropped 30 points. I've lost 8 pounds. He's lost about 20 pounds. His arthritis is gone. You guys have given me back my husband. I'd come home from work, and if he beat me home from work, he would be laying in the recliner, and I would feed him supper in his recliner and would be like really boring, pathetic old people watching TV while we ate dinner and then go to bed exhausted and wake up tired. I came home from work last night, and he was mowing the lawn. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. What a contrast, right? At the same time, President Trump was stumbling through his post-game presser with Putin, which necessitated a next-day contraction-retraction. Former President Obama was in South Africa treating the world to his soaring rhetoric, thereby reminding us how good we had it. That's the D.C. press corps' version of events. Unfortunately for Democrats, Obama's tawdry sentimentality and life's little instruction book maxims hold up about as well over time as do his policies. Obama got away with congenial disdain for the Bible and gun clingers, but his political progeny, not to mention his administration's apparatchiks, are not nearly as adroit. Obama's veiled invective is weak tea compared to his former CIA director's call for a firing squad. Obama's cliche-ridden claptrap lacks the appeal of Adam Schiff's Manchurian Candidate conspiracy theories or a Business Insider deep dive on bugging soccer balls. Obama served as a veneer for the left's ugliness. Trump has unleashed it and marginalized Obama as a political asset in the process. Now Trump leads the left's parade of horribles around by their pea hats in full public view. It's messy, and Trump is sloppy, but like the 1983 Chicago White Sox, Trump is winning ugly.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-566-7906 now for your free reputation analysis. Our dedicated experts and patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-566-7906 to learn more or visit ReputationDefender.com. AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame destroyed again. Again.
Yeah, somebody this time had a pickaxe. And so if somebody's walking down the street with a pickaxe, and that's not, you can't really conceal a pickaxe, Dan.
It is West Hollywood.
Hammering at the star, and they completely destroyed it. Way to go, you brave one.
They may have thought it was an episode of The Apprentice.
Where was it? Real American Heroes by Bud Light. I wasn't a Bud Light person, but I'm just saying that was so stupid, and it's been viewed thousands of times on the internet.
They're going to have to put like some sort of Pope-mobile bulletproof glass around that that star on the Walk of Fame.
Do a thing where if you touch it, you'll be electrocuted. Not electrocuted, but just nice little shock, like a dog collar shock. You know, just don't come over here. But they're going to fix it again, and maybe they should keep a surveillance camera on that area so they can actually arrest someone when they, defile something as a star on the Hollywood Boulevard.
Speaking of defiling stars, Golden Girls action figures.
Have you seen this? Which one do you want? Do you want B? Do you want Betty White's character? Do you want a Stella Getty's character?
Rose Nyland, you mean?
Rose. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Thank you for being a friend.
It's giving action figures.
I always get emotional. When
a new line of 8-inch tall figures that will look perfect on your desk. You can encase them in theft-proof glass or just simply put them on your desk. But they're wearing the clothes that they wore during the show, and it's perfect for Miami.
Just please tell me.
Yes?
Please, for everything that is holy, tell me that they're not anatomically correct.
I'm not looking under anybody's dress. This time I'm just going to sit that one out. But, yeah, you can buy these action figures online.
I miss B. Arthur.
Oh, I know.
Estelle Getty played what? The older woman. She was like 25 years older than in real life?
Yeah.
In the television
show? Yeah. Well, that showed her range. That and doing that movie with Sylvester Stallone.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Silencing CNN at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
We are following developments this morning impacting police around the country. We'll start in Arizona, where a Department of Public Safety trooper in training is dead and a second officer severely injured after an overnight shooting. A colonel with the Department of Public Safety, Frank Milstead, telling reporters this morning it happened after they approached the driver of a car along an interstate in the Phoenix suburb of Avondale. Meantime, a Milwaukee police officer was shot in the line of duty while responding to a call. The police officer was a 17-year veteran with the force. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett.
Words cannot describe the sorrow and anger I feel at this moment.
The gunman yelled, "I'm not going back to jail," before opening fire on police officers. That suspect is in custody. The Trump administration has to reunite thousands of children with their immigrant parents later today. A court filing this week said over 900 parents who were separated from their children at the southern border are not eligible to be reunited because of criminal records. The U.S. Embassy in Beijing says an explosion that took place today there was simply the work of one person. A spokesperson says the suspect who detonated a bomb outside of the embassy only injured himself. Here in Chicago, lawyers for the police officer charged with murder in the fatal shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald do not want the judge presiding over that case to decide the venue. Bond set at $300,000 for a man charged in a wheeling crash last weekend that took the life of a Mount Prospect teen. The public can now view video of a deadly police shooting of Maurice Granton last month on Chicago's South Side. COPA released footage yesterday showing the tactical officer firing at Granton as he tries to escape and scale a fence in the Bronzeville neighborhood. Chicago sports, Cubs clipped the Diamondbacks 2-1 at Wrigley. Mike Trout, 2 home runs. Angels over the White Sox 11-3 in Anaheim. The news, a service of Unbound.org. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who do not have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at Unbound.org. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager finds the left exaggerates science.
The left lies about so many things that at a given point, I simply believe that they're crying wolf. Everything's an existential threat. The left uses science to promote its agendas, and that they get scared unbelievably easily.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
The following is a paid political announcement.
So what are Hoosiers saying about President Trump's tax cuts? Listen to Larry Davis, who runs a manufacturing business in Mishawaka.
It's a great time to be in business, especially in Indiana. As a result of the tax cuts and the improved economy, we're able to invest in people, buy new equipment, and grow. Tax cuts are working for Indiana businesses, and they should be made permanent.
But in Washington, Senator Joe Donnelly voted no on tax cuts and said at the time,
"It's not tax reform. It's a partisan tax hike on Indiana's middle class."
So Donnelly voted with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren against a tax cut of more than $2,000 for middle-class Hoosier families. It's time for him to listen to Indiana. Call Senator Joe Donnelly at 202-224-4814. Urge him to support S2687 and vote to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
It is 6:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. It's a big jam on the northbound tri-state from the Cermak Toll Plaza to Balmoral due to the ongoing construction there. Northbound Veterans Memorial, just a brief delay, Findlay to St. Charles. Eden, 24 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 34 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 16 from Montrose, 10 on the Express, outbound 25 minutes to the airport. On Eisenhower, 48 minutes, 390 to downtown, 34 from Manheim, outbound 34 to 390. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The ride from 95th to downtown is 28 minutes. Traffic service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. You can help put an end to Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis by joining Team Challenge, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation's endurance training program. Run, walk, cycle, or complete a triathlon and get closer to the ultimate finish line, yours. Visit ccteamchallenge.org to learn more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Not as warm today. Some clouds to start the day, then sunshine in the afternoon, high near 80, a moonlit sky, and 61 overnight. Currently, we have 72. Next news coming up at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. It is a healthy thing for the world to fear the strength of the United States. We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so another press flap involving the White House and CNN, this time with CNN reporter Caitlin Collins, who has been banished from the kingdom.
She wasn't banished from the kingdom permanently, but yesterday she was the pool reporter. And if no one knows what that means, that every day somebody from a different network of the 5 majors is in charge of asking the questions of their cameraman. So she was at the Oval Office asking questions, and they apparently didn't like the questions she was asking.
Did Michael Cohen betray you, Mr. President?
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. President, did Michael Cohen betray you?
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. President, are you worried about what Michael Cohen is going to say to prosecutors?
Thank you, Caleb. Let's keep going.
Are you worried about what is on the other tapes, Mr. President?
Thank you all. Let's keep going. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody.
Why has Vladimir Putin not accepted your invitation?
So this is everyday life. Every time that they're in the Oval Office, you still have the pool camera and the pool reporter, but everybody that's there screams out questions at them. And there's Lace, trying to herd the cattle out the door. Let's go, let's go. But she says after that, there was a Rose Garden event that she was told she could not go to. And she was pulled aside by Bill Shine and Sarah Sanders.
And then later, I was called into the office of Bill Shine, the president's latest hire, who is his right-hand man for Communications. It was him and the press secretary, Sarah Sanders, who told me that I would not be invited to an open press event here in the Rose Garden moments later at the White House because they thought the questions that I posed to President Trump were inappropriate for that venue. I told them that is often our only chance to ask the president questions. Those questions were questions any reporter would have asked, and I was there to represent all of the networks and therefore ask about the questions of the day along with the other reporters and my colleagues in that room. Because of that, the White House blocked me from going to an open press event here at the White House that all reporters are allowed to go because they did not like the questions that I asked President Trump about the news of the day.
And they're questions, Dan, that you would ask or I would ask. Why did Michael Cohen betray you? Are you worried what's on the other tapes? Why has Vladimir Putin not accepted your invitation? It wasn't out of line, and they took it to the
I don't know that those would be the
degree.
questions I'd ask, but
well,
that's
I'm just
fine.
saying that those are the questions that Holly Jackson was there. Everybody was there
all
from
the
NBC.
stars were out.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
And even Brett Baer and Fox News have come to little Caitlin's defense.
CNN says one of its reporters was stopped from covering the president's trade announcement late this afternoon in the Rose Garden, and CNN has just issued a statement. Quote, today CNN White House correspondent Caitlin Collins was denied access to cover an open press event at the White House after posing questions to President Trump earlier in the day. As the network pool reporter, Collins was told by White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications Bill Shine and Press Secretary Sarah Sanders that her questions were inappropriate. They were not. Just because the White House is uncomfortable with the question regarding the news of the day doesn't mean the question isn't relevant and shouldn't be asked. This decision to bar a member of the press is retaliatory in nature and not indicative of an open and free press. We demand better. As a member of the White House press pool, Fox stands firmly with CNN on this issue of access. So far, no response from the White House.
All right.
God has spoken, everybody.
Is Trump a dictator who's censoring CNN and marginalizing the press to hide information? I mean, that's sort of the intimation here is that this is, you can disagree, as Brett Baer and Fox News disagree with barring her from this open press event. I would agree with him. The reaction, is the reaction proportional to the transgression? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, if you even think it's a transgression. I do, but I think the reaction is typically hysterical and over the top.
Yeah, but to me, this is just drawing more attention to President Trump and Michael Cohen and what's on those tapes. I mean,
right, but there's a consequence for it.
Right. They should have just played it cool. Bill Shine and Sarah Sanders should have never called her into that room and banned her from the Rose Garden event. It's so stupid.
That's a good point. They overmanaged it because they didn't want Caitlin Collins to step on their messaging about the trade meeting with the EU, and they didn't want Trump to get taken down a rabbit hole by her on the topic of Cohen and step on his own messaging, and so they ban her so they don't get Cohen questions. And then the story coming out of yesterday.
I want to know more about Cohen.
Well, it's not even about knowing more, but this story about her getting banned gets almost as much of a headline as the progress that's been made on trade between the United States and Europe and its allies. So I agree with you. I think it was a strategic and tactical mistake, and it's just the wrong approach anyway. You should. The whole thing is you want to be perceived as, and you want to actually as well as be perceived as taking on all comers.
Right, and being civilized. I mean, and there was European reporters there too because of the subject. That
oh
they
my
were
God!
Covering.
Oh, not we can't embarrass ourselves in front of the Europeans.
No, I'm saying, and they were yelling the same questions.
Yeah,
that's what the reporter NBC.
Most of them are
said
about soccer, though.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, we'll have to talk about that soccer ball later.
Yeah.
We have some new information about the Putin gift.
Yeah.
Ancillary issue, but I digress.
But the whole he's a dictator, he's a king business in response to this.
He made a bad decision yesterday.
I mean, it's hyperventilating. People are saying that are not serious people. Okay.
Well, they just think that now he's going to set a precedent. So now the next pool reporter, if they yell something that they don't want to answer, that they're going to have their
Yeah.
They're going to be barred from a press
And
conference.
then
She didn't get her press credentials yanked, but she was not allowed to go to that.
And then it's to the guillotine with the whole Fourth Estate. I
well,
mean, it's just
flogging first. Yes.
here's the you can say Trump made a mistake without having to invoke Hitler, okay? Be an adult in these conversations. And also, you don't have to be kind of the knee-jerk, everything Trump touches and does is on the order of King Midas. He makes mistakes. The administration makes mistakes. They have bad moments. They're human beings.
Wolf Blitzer yesterday. I mean, I thought his hair was on fire. This is communist country we're living in.
Here's the thing, because the press is so reverential. This is a great tweet. This was earlier in the week on the news of the New York Daily News, laying off half of its editorial staff. Iowa Hawk, who's one of the best on Twitter. Youngstown Widget lays off 3,000. Learn to code or go to nursing school. Your obsolete job isn't coming back. New York Bugle lays off 30. This is the end of democracy as we know it. Right, what's important and what's not. The press thinks they're very important, and the free press is very important. But they individually think that Western civilization rises or falls on them, and it's embarrassing. And then they give short shrift to, us workaday slugs out there on the hustings. I thought that was a perfect tweet.
312-642-5600 is our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Kevin in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Kevin.
And you made a statement about 20 seconds ago, you should have the perception of taking on all comers. The problem is the media has lost the perception of being fair and unbiased. It's my firm belief that there is no greater threat to our democracy, to the United States, to the American way of life, than the media as it is existing today. And for them to finally be giving some pushback, it's fun to watch as though their hair is on fire. I think if you were to put a poll before most American people, they would say, good, get rid of half of them. They've got these faux reporters whose only job is to try and trip up one administration while propping up another. It's not fair. The American people see right through it, and it's just, finally, someone is starting to take a stand. I think hopefully, if they read the tea leaves properly, they'll do more of this. I mean,
Kevin, hold on a second. So, which is better? Is it House of Cards defenestrating reporters, or is it Trump, or as some representative of the administration taking on Caitlin Collins straight away and pantsing her in public, rhetorically speaking, of course? Isn't that more effective? Come on, bring on whatever you got. Let's bring it, and I'm going to bring it the way Mike Pompeo did with the Senate Foreign Relations Committee senators yesterday, the way the president has done with the press on any number of occasions. To me, that's just so much more effective.
I agree that would be more effective if it was ever reported in such a fashion, but you and I both know it never is reported in such a fashion. Anytime a story blows up in the press's face, or they're proven completely to be wrong or manipulating a fact set, it never gets reported. It just gets shuffled aside, and they move on to the next theoretical bombshell report that is opposed to one position or propping up another position. But there's never been a literal pushback against a corrupt media.
All right.
It's been a long time coming, and you know what? It's of their own making.
All right, thanks for the call, Kevin. Mike on the Ike, so he's not going anywhere. Mike, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Listen, I agree with the last caller, but she wasn't removed, which a lot of the news was saying she was removed. She wasn't invited to the next venue, and her questions were not on topic. I mean, if you had a meeting at your station and you were talking about one specific item, stick to it. All she does is yell out questions about Cohen. What do you think he would have said? Are you worried about what Michael Cohen's going to say? Well, of course he is. But why? Well, that has nothing to do. And I believe he was.
Well, he could do what he did and ignore it, too. Yeah.
Well, sometimes he answers their questions. That's why they keep asking them. And most of the time, they're off topic.
They're only looking for ratings and headlines. They're not sticking
well, it's
to
a
the
juicy
topic.
story.
So,
right.
But and I feel sorry that she doesn't have another opportunity to ask him those particular questions. But what a stupid question about Cohen, and why was Putin? Why did you put it off? What do you think he's going to say? Stick to the topic, and they take her questions. So I don't think it's a big deal. But
thanks for the call, Mike. But I mean, if we eliminated people based on eliminate people in the press corps based on asking stupid questions, there would be no press corps. We can't have that.
No questions, stupid questions.
Oh, okay. Except the one
that I ask.
That was just asked by Avila. That's Bruce in Bloomingdale.
Sorry, guys, got to echo the last two callers. This was an absolutely brilliant move. And with what President Trump has accomplished in about the last 36 hours, it's completely taken the spotlight off the Kavanaugh nomination, which I think is what they want to do. President Trump just throws rabid squirrels at the press, and they run off chasing them. I think it's a beautiful thing. Next thing they ought to do is ban Acosta. If it were up to me, I'd make them pick up a faxed copy of the day's press release in the basement of the White House after they took a number one at a time, like at the deli counter.
Thanks for the call, Bruce. I said Avila. I meant Acosta. It's been so long since I've heard anything from Jim Acosta that I forgot his name.
He used to work here.
In Chicago.
At BBM.
Yeah. No, I remember.
Guy.
Yeah.
And Jim Avila used to work here, too, at BBM TV.
Not a member of the Washington Press Corps.
No, not right now.
Yeah. John in Lincolnwood.
Oh, hi, Dan and Amy. It's been a while. I thought I'd call in because I really have to say something about these reporters and stuff. Amy, I know you were a reporter and you're going to defend them till the end, but asking really dumb, stupid questions about Cohen. No one, I mean, I'm telling you, I have people at work, no one cares. They care more about North Korea. They care more about these tariffs and how it's going to affect them. Do we really care about Cohen and these pay? I mean, you even listen to the tape. He says pay with a check. It's so ridiculous. They're just trying to make a name for themselves, obviously, because I've never heard of this woman from CNN until yesterday. And Wolf Blitzer, I love that he's here. I hope he has a spastic craziness on TV because he's an idiot as well. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, John. Glad we can let you get that out. We need to reprise the girl who was raised by Wolf Blitzer from The Onion. It's fantastic. Candace in DuPage.
Yeah, who cares what Brett Baer thinks? He got one gotcha moment with Comey. He's not God, Amy. But I agree with all the last 4 or 5 callers. And I was listening to Mark Levin last night, and I thought he had some really good points. He said, back in the day, the press didn't get to ask all this silly gotcha stuff. It was about what the subject was about. And also, the press conferences were closed. And what was the other point? That they were also off the record. And I think that is a lot classier than having like 30 idiots screaming all at the same time. They are so embarrassing to this country. The questions that they ask are embarrassing.
Well, that may be the case, but I mean the gaggle, the scrums that Amy was referring to before. I mean that's just part of it. And there's
it doesn't need to be part of it. Dan.
Well, there's a higher standard that public officials.
That's our higher standard.
No.
Doesn't need to be.
There's a higher.
I think it should be changed.
There's a higher standard for with respect to the First Amendment and a free press and the Fourth Estate that has to be abided by public officials, and that means more indulgence, not less. You're not a private citizen. Candace in DuPage doesn't have the same responsibilities to the Fourth Estate that the President of the United States does.
Don't tell her that.
But the questions that they're asking have nothing to do with that.
Well, I understand, but do you want to get into the business of regulating reporters' speech and having to script their questions for them? I mean, we just can't do that.
It could be done in a different way. It could be done in a different way. It doesn't have to be like they're almost like a wrestling match of reporters.
All right, thanks for the call, Candace. Dan,
competitive out there.
Yeah. To get questions.
More physically, are you getting in the front row? You got to box people out.
Well, I mean, it really is competitive.
It is.
You want your question asked at the press conference, right? You want to be called on.
Yep, you sure do.
Just like I wanted to be picked for youth sports, and it never happened.
You were the last one. Somebody's got to take Dan.
No,
sorry.
No, I just said
too soon.
I just sat on the sidelines and kept score. Dan in Libertyville.
Hello, and thank you for taking my call. I agree with Candace. We need to have a greater amount of professionalism in what's going on. It does look like a 3-ring circus with Jim Acosta especially. As far as taking him on, I mean, we could punch him in the face. I guess that would make for good news. But the fact of the matter is, what I think needs to happen is that press corps needs to be sat down with their editors by someone from the White House staff and told, this is how we're going to run this. You're going to ask questions. You're going to raise your hand. We're going to answer those questions. There aren't going to be shouting matches and interruptions and demanding to have your question answered after you've already had two questions answered. Yeah. You've got to get another one in. Enough of the nonsense. Take control of the White House and shut down these punks that call themselves reporters.
All right, Dirty Harry Dan from Libertyville. I don't like the Marquis of Queensberry rules applied here. I like it to be what politics is, street fight.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. A victory for President Trump, the European Union agreeing to work towards zero tariffs between Europe and the U.S. in trade, and U.S. airlines knuckling under to Chinese pressure on Taiwan. Uber introducing self-driving cars in Pittsburgh. Those stories next.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200? $300? Or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code SAVE20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair income. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code SAVE20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today, use promo code SAVE20, and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret, plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20.
In a major trade concession, European Union President Jean-Claude Juncker and President Trump announcing that the EU and the United States have agreed to work towards zero tariffs in trade between the two countries. American Airlines, Delta, and United rolling over in the face of demands from China, demands that they cease calling Taiwan an independent nation. China set a deadline for removal of such references, and 3 U.S. carriers have bowed to the Chinese demand. 4 months after a fatal accident with one of its self-driving cars in Arizona, Uber making moves to relaunch driverless cars, this time in Pittsburgh. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints in the spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens, and they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl...
Oh, heartburn!
one man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson with a great way to celebrate Independence Day with a bang all month long. In July only, Schrank Smoke & Gun is offering 10 to 20% off all store-owned Smith & Wesson firearms. If you're new to firearms or an experienced owner, don't miss this sale. Generations of customers shop Schranks for the family atmosphere and huge selection of pistols, rifles, shotguns, hard-to-find calibers, collectibles, and older functioning hunting rifles. But hurry, even with the largest selection of new and used firearms in Lake County, inventory changes daily. And don't forget, Schranks offers on-site gunsmith services from simple cleaning to repair. And cigar lovers, well, you'll find your favorites in Schranks humidors along with a broad selection of pipes and tobacco. Don't miss the July Smith & Wesson 10 to 20% off sale and check Facebook and Instagram for frequent flash sales. Drive north and save on taxes at Schrank's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. Visit smoke.gun.org or call 847-662-4034.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Panicked and dangerous. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what House Democrats are calling the attempt by some Republicans to impeach Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, claiming it aims to undermine an ongoing criminal investigation to protect the president. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Dave, a group of Republicans has introduced articles of impeachment accusing Rosenstein of withholding documents from Congress, defying subpoenas, and abusing the FISA court system. Congressman Mark Meadows and 10 other GOP lawmakers backing the effort.
For us, it's all about transparency so the American people can judge for themselves.
Rod Rosenstein has said the Justice Department has complied with requests for information. The House adjourns for recess later today. It's unclear if lawmakers will consider the resolution before they leave town. Dave.
Rachel, Secretary of State Pompeo got into it with some senators yesterday.
I understand the game that you're playing.
Sparring here with Democrat Bob Menendez, who wants answers about what President Trump said in private to Russia's president at their summits.
My questions is to get to the truth. We don't know what the truth is. Did he tell Putin that I'll release or ultimately relax sanctions?
I can confirm to you that no commitment has been made to change those policies in any way.
Other senators like Democrat Ed Markey questioned Pompeo on North Korea, saying there's no evidence of denuclearization.
Senator, we have...
So I am afraid that at this point, the United States, the Trump administration, is being taken for a ride.
Fear not, Senator. Fear not.
Though Pompeo did confirm the North Koreans are still making nuclear fuel. Tomorrow, a U.S. official tells Fox North Korea will turn over remains of 55 American service members killed in the Korean War. Today's the court-ordered deadline for the Trump administration to reunite families separated at the border after coming here illegally. More than 1,000 of the 2,500 kids separated earlier this year have been reunited so far. As of Tuesday, hundreds more are awaiting transportation. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Skies are beginning to clear out this morning. We started cloudy with some rain showers. Expect some sun by late in the afternoon. Currently 72 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Lawyers for a Chicago police officer charged with murder in the fatal shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald do not want the judge presiding over that case to decide the venue. Judge Vincent Gahn has scheduled a hearing for next month on whether the trial of Officer Jason Van Dyke should be moved out of Chicago. In a court filing yesterday, Attorney Daniel Herbert says the judge has made it clear his intentions to refuse to move the trial. Herbert noted that Gahn has already set a September 5 trial date for before hearing arguments about moving the trial. Bond set at $300,000 for a man charged in a wheeling crash last weekend that took the life of a Mount Prospect teen. Authorities say Adam Grunin was traveling over 100 miles an hour when he slammed into the back of an SUV Saturday near Milwaukee Avenue and Hintz Road while fleeing from the scene of another accident. The collision killed 16-year-old Alyssa Lendino. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner will not be on the stage when President Trump arrives in the Metro East. Governor had earlier said this week he will not be in Granite City with the president later today. Meantime, nearly all the nation's Republican governors have signed a letter backing Senate confirmation for President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. After originally indicating differently, Bruce Rauner did sign that letter. An HBO documentary about Sandra Bland is set to air in December on the cable network. Say Her Name, the death and life of Sandra Bland, follows the Bland family as they look for answers during the 2 years after her death. The Villa Park native died in a Texas jail after she was arrested during a traffic stop in 2015. Cubs clipped the Diamondbacks 2-1. Mike Trout 2 home runs. Angels over the White Sox 11-3. The news is a service of Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion is the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio. Do your part to release a child from poverty. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on a great lineup of Ford SUVs. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Not available on Expedition. For all offers, take new retail delivery from authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the eastbound Jane Addams Tollway I-90, traffic stop and go from Meacham to before Arlington Heights Road, thanks to an earlier crash. The northbound Tri-State delays from 115th to 87th, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and the Cermak Toll to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial at stop and go 75th to St. Charles. Edens is 21 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 22. Kennedy, 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 30. Eisenhower from 390 to downtown. It's 49 minutes. 31 from Manheim. Outbound 40 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 50 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 38. Ryan, 32 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
And we are following in the newsroom and Jim in the traffic center as well. Lake County Sheriff deputies responding to an officer-involved shooting early this morning in north suburban Lakemore. We'll have more on that as details become available. Chicago's Morning Answer does continue next with your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sunshine, high 80. Tonight, a moonlit sky, low 61. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 77. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 60. Saturday, clouds and sun, high 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Did the Ninth Circuit, the liberal, hard-left Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, just deal a death blow to gun banners this week? Two different panels of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals have written opinions that provide not only an understanding, proper understanding from the perspective of me, of the right to keep bear arms, but also a proper roadmap for effective constitutional gun control. The case that was decided yesterday, earlier this week, one case struck down the state of Hawaii's ban on openly carrying weapons outside the home. In other words, the right to bear arms includes the right to carry a weapon to defend yourself outside of the home. The Ninth Circuit saying this. Oh, boy. Don't tell those kids at Parkland. John Lott Jr., president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, author of the books War on Guns and More Guns, Less Crime, joins us now for more analysis. John, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Oh, good morning.
John?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, John, you're, can we hear you there, John?
I hear you. I don't know. You can hear me.
Okay, there we go. It's a little bit better. So, am I right to be positively aghast at this? Aghast positively as well at this Ninth Circuit ruling.
Well, I mean, obviously the circuit as a whole is extremely liberal. There's about 2/3 or so is Democrats, but two of
John, I think we're having trouble hearing you. I don't know if you're on a cell or you're in a bad zone, but we're or Tiny Dancer is
blocking our signal,
electromagnetically pulsing you or something. John, are you there?
I think so.
Okay,
that's
now
much better.
that's better. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Anyway, while the Ninth Circuit as a whole is very liberal, they did get 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat on this one panel. And that's happened before. The issue is whether they're going to appeal this to what's called an en banc decision, where the entire Ninth Circuit would vote, and then you'd get, the impact of the very liberal court on there. I think it's a big decision, though. And the reason is that I think either this case would ultimately go to the Supreme Court, or the gun control advocates would just kind of accept their loss here in order to try to avoid it going to the Supreme Court. And it would affect the Ninth Circuit, which is pretty big. I mean, obviously California's gun laws would be impacted as well as Hawaii. But it would then create conflict between the different circuits, and that would mean other cases in the future would be more likely to go to the Supreme Court.
So we could have open carry in Illinois in the not too distant future.
Right. I think we're maybe talking about 4 or 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not even sure it's open carry that would you be allowed, because the reason why you have concealed carry in Illinois is you had Judge Posner, I guess in like 2012, said, look, you have to be able to let people carry somehow. When it's there, means to carry, as you said earlier. And you can't ban them completely carrying open and completely carrying concealed. You have to let them do it one way or the other. And Posner basically picked concealed for them. And that's kind of the dilemma that the California legislature and Hawaii, because there you have very liberal places. And my guess is they'd rather have people carry concealed than carried openly.
How did this?
And so you may actually see those legislatures, in order to keep a ban on open carry, loosen up their rules to make it so that people can carry concealed more easily.
But doesn't each city or state have a right to impose their own rules on this? Or since it's federal, it would wipe that out?
Well, I mean, they can have some rules, like obviously Illinois now has concealed carry, but it's fairly restrictive. It costs like $450 or so to go through the process to get a concealed carry permit in Illinois. If you look at Indiana, next door, it costs about $47 to go and get a permit for 5 years. So, I mean, that's just an example of the types of differences that are there. And they'll pick, I assume, very restrictive rules in terms of the costs and other things for people to get through. But still, they will lose their discretion on who gets a permit. If you're a law-abiding citizen and you meet whatever requirements that they put down there, pay the fees. In Illinois, it takes 16 hours of training to get a permit. But once you've met those criteria, then you'll be able to get a permit. The problem that you have right now in places like Hawaii and in California is that in order to get a permit to carry either openly or concealed, you have to demonstrate that you have a need. And Hawaii, they say you have to demonstrate that you're in sufficient fear for your safety. Well, the thing is, Hawaii isn't granting any permits to anybody. Nobody's been able to prove that they have sufficient fear to the local authorities there to be able to be granted a permit. There's no woman who's being stalked. There's no person who may be getting threats that's been able to convince the Honolulu police or anybody else to be able to go and grant them a permit. And the court said, that just can't be. You have to have some objective rules in terms of who can get a permit to carry.
Right, and there's also an important pronouncement in these opinions about gun control, and that essentially the form of gun control that is best designed to preserve public safety while also respecting constitutional rights is gun control that is individualized and evidence-based, based on the user, right, not based on the weapon. This is important when you, with some of the kind of increasing popularity of red flag laws, depending on how they are worded specifically and implemented. So gun violence restraining orders that the NRA has endorsed, that David French has endorsed, again, like a surety law, a limitation comes after specific complaint and the presentation of evidence. It's not sort of somebody thinks you may be a threat, so they can strip you of your gun rights sorts of things. And so I thought this delineation by the Ninth Circuit on the sorts of gun control that could be advanced in terms of public safety, but also need to be respectful of individual constitutional rights was important.
No, I agree with you. Look, I mean, this whole thing about red flag laws, I have problems with, and that is, they say, well, if somebody's really a danger to somebody else, then we're going to ban them from being able to legally have a gun. If you really believe that somebody is a danger, again, given the types of evidentiary rules that you're talking about there, if you really believe somebody's a danger, then you should consider committing them in some way. Because simply saying that you're not going to be able to legally buy a gun isn't really the way to stop them from doing anything. I mean,
right.
I'll give you an example. When I go and give talks at college campuses, I'll many times ask students, if I gave them a couple days, would they be able to buy illegal drugs? And you'll get 80% of the students will raise their hand saying, sure, they'll be able to do that. The thing is, the same people who sell drugs have guns to protect their valuable property. It's the drug dealers not only sell illegal drugs, but they sell guns. And the notion that you're going to be able to stop somebody from illegally obtaining a weapon is, just because you say they can't legally get one, is just not serious. And then presumably once a person's cured, then you wouldn't have to worry about taking away their weapons there. But it's just this focus on guns rather than the focus on the violence that they're so obsessed with. Why not take away the person's car also, or any other thing that they might do? But no, they just want to focus solely on legally obtained guns.
Yeah. And recently, that shooting, that terrorist attack in Toronto, the first thing the mayor did was, we have too many guns on the street. That was the first thing that he said. Not saying that we have a problem with terrorists who are here, who want to kill our Canadian citizens. They blame the gun.
Well, in Canada, it's very difficult to get a handgun.
Oh, really?
You have to go and get a license to be able to get it. And in Ontario, they just don't really give out. I mean, Ontario, for giving out handgun licenses, is like Hawaii giving out licenses to be able to go and carry. So, the issue that you have there is here you have a guy who illegally obtained a gun. The drug gangs in Canada have handguns. The only thing I can say is, fortunately, Canada doesn't have as bad of a drug gang problem as we have here in the United States, or they have a lot more violence. Few people seem to appreciate how much violence and murder. I mean, you in Chicago know this, how much is associated with drug gang violence that you have.
Well,
and, it's just hard. You're no more likely to stop drug gangs from getting a hold of guns than you've been able to stop them from getting a hold of illegal drugs to sell.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see if any Democrat senators take up the Ninth Circuit holdings here when it comes to Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing. John Lott Jr., president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, author of books, The War on Guns, More Guns, Less Crime. John, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great talking to you. Thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up, Dan, your skin looks great. What are you doing?
How dare you? Totally out of bounds.
Not as warm today. There's some sunshine and there's some high clouds, 80 degrees. Tonight, a moonlit sky, a low of 61. And for Friday, partly sunny, pleasant, a high in the mid to upper 70s. Let's get into the alarm detection systems traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. And Lake Moore, Sullivan Lake Road is closed between Four Seasons Boulevard and 12 due to police activity in that area. Reports of a shooting in Island Lake at a crash on 176 at Darrell, busy intersection. South side of Chicago, there's a shooting investigation, which is Garfield, Block, Ashland to Marshfield. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound now 25. Kennedy, 34 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Von Eyck, now 56 minutes, 390 to downtown. 37 from Manheim, outbound 42 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 38. Orion, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State Heavy, 21 to Bradley. Northbound, 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis, Cermak Toll to Balmoral. It's about Adams Tollway. We've got delays Meacham to before Arlington Heights Road after a crash. The northbound Veterans Memorial is 75th to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialist will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
So yesterday, true story, I had some guys over from CertaPro Painters, and I was trying to pawn off my MyPillows on them because I recently have 2 new king-size MyPillows. And they said, well, is it true? I mean, is this really the best pillow and you really can't sleep without it? And I said, yes. Give it a try. Take it home, wash it, and dry it because they are washable and dryable. And give it a try. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee. Or if they don't like it, they can just simply return it to me. But I love the MyPillow because it supports your neck and back, regardless if you sleep on your side, on your stomach, or on your back. And it's made in America. Mike Lindell, featured by President Trump as he recognized him at a Trump rally last month. And there's a 10-year warranty on this. Plus, again, that 60-day money-back guarantee. Right now, the buy one, get one free offer is still around for the month of July. And you can get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress topper that I've been telling you about, pet beds, sheets that I love, and pillowcases. Go to MyPillow.com, check out all the items, and when you check out, type Amy in that promo code for 30% off. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
When it comes to the success of your small business, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? It may not sound like a lot of money, but it's enough to turn 500 strangers into 500 connections. All it takes is the right business card. Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. You heard right. 500 business cards for $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. But don't let the price fool you. Vistaprint uses only carefully selected inks and paper stocks, so your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed every time for any reason. You'll find dozens of designs that are just right for your business at Vistaprint, and you can add your logo and contact information with just a few clicks. It's never been easier to turn strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint and start today because this offer won't last forever. Get your 500 business cards for just $9.99 at Vistaprint.com. Use promo code 4949 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4949.
We live in exciting times. The rapid evolution of technology in industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions designed to give manufacturers a competitive advantage. From ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor, industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga. AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we talked about Lake County property taxes yesterday. Trying to bring it home, the highest property taxes in the nation, destroying home equity. Your home, your job, your pension, which are you going to give up to live in Illinois? Because one is going to be taken from you. Just as Dwayne Wade. Yeah, Dwayne Wade.
D. Wade. I love him. He's
Hall of Fame NBAer.
From Robbins, isn't he?
Yeah, he went to what high school?
He went to Thornton Fractional?
He did not.
Thornton Central?
He did not.
Thornton North?
Stop with the Thorntons. It's not
Move
Thornton.
on.
Yeah. Oaklawn.
Wait, hold on. Oaklawn High School? No, there's no Oaklawn High School.
Richards.
Oh.
Come on.
I was not even close.
Call
I was
yourself
going
a
to say
Chicago
St. Rita's.
basketball fan.
Richards High School.
Dwayne Wade, D. Wade, has paid nearly $125,000 in property taxes over the 12 years he's owned a home in Matson. He's trying to sell for barely half of what he paid for it.
How much did he pay for it?
He paid in 2006 $390,000, which is $488,000 in today's dollars.
Yeah.
His property taxes are $12,800 a year, $12,800 a year. It's an effective property tax rate of almost 5% of his asking price, which is
how much?
Oh,
hurry! Don't.
$245,000. I'm sorry. It's currently listed at $269,000.
Oh,
$269,000. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, $269,000 today. That he paid in 2018 dollars, $488,000. And he's paid $125,000 on top of that in property taxes during those 12 years.
$125,000?
Yeah, property taxes.
Oy.
That's why it's only worth $269,000 as compared to the $488,000 that he paid just 12 years ago. The Matson is one of these South suburban communities that's getting hammered by property taxes. It's I think a majority minority community, and so it's disproportionately impacting middle income families, minority families mainly. Southland decimated by property taxes, destroyed by Chicago Democrat policies. But keep electing them. The median sale price in Matson, the first 6 months of this year, $143,000. The median property tax bill, $5,300, 3.75% of median home value, which is almost 4 times the national average. Dwayne Wade can't sell his place in Matson.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Dan, why did you have to be so beautiful? Why do you have to have such awesome skin?
We come to the defense of Lake County Sheriff Mark Kern, Amy, do we? At 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 72 degrees and sunshine. Lake County Sheriff's deputies are responding to an officer-involved shooting this morning in Lakemore. There continue to be a number of police cars in the area of Four Seasons Boulevard and Sullivan Lake Road. At least one vehicle there does not appear to have police markings. Right now, neither the Lake County Sheriff's nor Lakemore Police are releasing any further details. An Arizona Department of Public Safety trooper in training is dead. A second officer severely hurt after an overnight shooting. DPS Director Colonel Frank Milstead says it happened as they approached a driver in a Phoenix suburb.
During the struggle, one of the troopers lost his firearm to the subject. The subject fired at least 2 rounds from the duty weapon, striking Officer Dallin Doris.
Doris is expected to recover. The fallen officer, Tyler Edenhofer, had just graduated from the DPS Academy in May. Milwaukee's police chief confirms the force lost one of their own Wednesday.
It's a difficult time for the police department. He's a 17-year veteran who is well loved by the department and a friend of mine.
Chief Alfonso Morales says the suspect, originally wanted on gun and drug charges, is in custody. Twitter says it's just a glitch that's being fixed. President Trump says it's illegal and discriminatory. It's shadow banning, and a number of prominent conservatives and others say they're victims. Several officials, Republican lawmakers, are not appearing in social media auto-populated drop-down search results, and it's got those impacted fuming. 11 House Republicans are introducing articles of impeachment against Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. They accuse him of stonewalling their demands for documents about the Russia investigation and into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. The U.S. Embassy in Beijing says an explosion that took place there today was the work of one person, and only that person was injured. Bond set at $300,000 for a man charged in a wheeling crash last weekend that took the life of a Mount Prospect teen. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner will not be on the stage today when President Trump arrives at a steel firm in Granite City. Cubs clipped the Diamondbacks 2-1 at Wrigley. Angels beat the White Sox 11-3. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving and drug driving and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP. That's MADD.org. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I am a Trump supporter.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Now, I am a Trump supporter who will freely criticize the president when I think he's done wrong. And done wrong can be sending out a stupid tweet, raising taxes, or supporting amnesty. Can be anything. It's the issues to me. And when President Trump does something that does not advance those issues, I'll call him out on it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
How's your breath? If you're not using TheraBreath, it might be bad. TheraBreath is guaranteed to give you fresh breath or your money back. Available at your local drugstore. Visit TheraBreath.com for coupons and locations.
Remember this promise from Barack Obama?
And if you already have health care, then we're going to reduce costs an average of $2,500 per family on premiums.
The truth is, premiums in the individual under 65 market have more than doubled since the ACA exchanges opened in 2014. Especially for the millions of Americans who do not qualify for subsidies. If you're healthy and do not need coverage for pre-existing conditions, premiums are much lower in the non-ACA health insurance market. These policies will keep you consistently insured all year long, and they include a nationwide PPO. And there's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com. That's healthinsurancementors.com. Or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Finding affordable education for your young ones that teaches values and delivers a great education is a challenge these days, especially for the pre-K through 8th grade formative years. Private grade school can be expensive, but you want your child to have a strong foundation and good start with his or her education. St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard could be what you've been searching for, and more affordable than you imagined. They feature a rigorous faith-based curriculum combined with an outstanding variety of extracurricular activities that prepare children for personal and spiritual growth and academic success. They have sports for 5th to 8th grades, clubs like German and Spanish, band, drama, National Junior Honor Society, and Student Council. St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard prepares your child for accelerated programs in the best private high schools. Find out more about the long tradition of excellence in Christian education St. John's Lutheran School has at stjohnslombard.com. Request a tour, and for a limited time, get half off registration when you enroll your child. Go to stjohnslombard.com today.
7:37. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. And Lakemore Sullivan Lake Road remains closed between 12 and 4 Seasons Boulevard. The ongoing investigation of that officer-involved shooting. Southside Garfield has reopened at Ashland after a shooting. Eden's 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 25. Kennedy 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 38. Mount Eisenhower now 58 minutes. 390 to downtown outbound 42. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95 to downtown. Got a crash in the local lanes at the Stevenson to the right lane. Tri-State northbound delays are from 111th to 31st and from the Cermak toll to Balmoral. But Adams Tollway still heavy Meacham to before Arlington Heights Road after a crash. Traffic Service and Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA offers more than 1,000 free online resources for coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Not as warm today. We started with clouds and even a light rain shower, but sunshine is broken out. Should stay that way throughout the day and a high near 80. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it's exfoliation. That's the key. It's the key to good skin, Amy. Awesome skin, even.
Yeah, awesome skin. So because I say we, are in the Chicago Tribune. There's an article written about this show because, well, here's the headline. Lake County Sheriff Kern under fire for comments to radio host Amy Jacobson, quote, she has awesome skin.
Mm-hmm.
So we were there January
Scandalous.
25th at Lake County Jail. We did a live remote from there.
Yeah.
And this is how the conversation started with the sheriff.
Sheriff Mark, thanks for joining us and hosting us.
It's awesome to have you all here. Amy, I have not really met. She's 6 feet tall.
I know this.
She's got awesome skin. She's really a nice-looking lady.
See?
So that's not bad waking up to, Dan.
Now
Sorry,
you
Dan,
you have to compliment me.
Yeah. What are some of his attributes?
Dan is one of the brightest individuals in this industry.
What about my
right
skin?
At the very top. So they're.
That's not a substitute for that get out of jail free card.
You got
that
that
I
beard
want.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
he's trying to
looking a
look
little
like-
rough.
Yeah, I was trying to get a new look.
So I want to apologize, Amy. I can't believe I allowed Mark Curran to engage in that kind of misogynistic conduct in our presence there. I just lost myself in the moment, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking because I understand that the new protocol in this country, in this state, with cultural Marxists, is that zero tolerance for complimenting women on their appearance.
Right.
Zero tolerance.
So Sheriff Mark Kern's challenger in the upcoming election and some women in Lake County politics are criticizing the sheriff for sexually charged remarks he
Sexually
made
charged.
on the radio show earlier this year. Democratic candidate John Eidelberg said, quote, he was appalled by, quote, the inappropriate comments the incumbent Republican made on January 25th.
And then Eidelberg went outside and burned his bra after talking to the Tribune.
Yeah, so the co-host, by the way, Marcus Brown, our station program director, got involved to let people know that the co-hosts are not married, nor are they in a relationship. It's one company. So when he said you wake up to that every morning, not bad, he meant we wake up, we get to work. That's what was meant.
Yes, I know.
But this is what gets me mad.
This
This
wait,
goes on and on.
We were talking about CNN before Caitlin comes. You think the DC press corps is stupid? You have no idea unless you read local Chicago press corps coverage of politics.
So
you have no idea what stupid is.
There was a woman in the room. What was her name? Lake County clerk, circuit court clerk. And she said that he did not act professionally. Quote, there he was talking about the reporter, and it was just offensive. I thought he was really offensive when he should have been a role model to look up to. Lauren Beth Gash. Lauren Beth Gash.
Yeah,
remember she ran against Mark Kirk.
Yeah,
the 10th
Congress,
District
right.
Congressional
She was a
seat
state
lost.
rep for a while.
Lauren
Mhm.
Beth Gash. Sorry, I'm being rude. She serves as a commissioner on the Illinois Human Rights Commission.
She's also apparently your spokesman at large.
Yeah, which deals with sexual harassment complaints. And she said, considering what's occurring around the country about issues of sexual harassment, he should have known better. These comments were made in public, and quite frankly, they are shocking for an elected official. It's disrespectful and alarming. It's interesting to note that when he was asked to say something nice about the male radio host, he went immediately to his resume and qualifications rather than his looks. Lauren Beth Gash, I present to you Dan Proft.
Well,
now you're at the time you had that full length beard. There's really nothing to compliment you on. I mean, you looked sinister.
I don't know what you know about male interaction there, Miss Gash, but guys don't go around talking about other guys' skin. I mean, this is how silly this is. Hey, Mark, what? What am I, chopped liver over here? You're complimenting Amy on her appearance. What about my... And number one. Number two, I look like a troglodyte, so there's nothing to compliment with respect to my looks.
You have to immediately go to your intellect because that's where you shine.
So who should resign, Amy or Mark Hearn, or me for allowing this to happen on my watch?
This is my point. Yeah, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. This is my point of contention, though. This line, Jacobson could not be reached for comment Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I look like a victim here. I look like, oh, this is my Me Too moment. Oh, and I was, contacted
You're
by
a survivor.
the reporter. Because I did.
Amy Jacobson survived a compliment.
I did have a response, and I have it
all right,
here.
All right, let's hear it. Yeah, please.
Subject line, hi there, here's my response. Thanks for sending the link.
This is to the reporter.
All right, here we go. This is to the reporter, yes. This is not my Me Too moment. I am 6 feet tall. I do have great skin.
Oh, God.
He was just
hubris.
being observant. This kind of foolishness makes it hard for the real victims out there. Just because he paid me a compliment doesn't mean it's sexist. It was a lighthearted, fun radio segment. I enjoy these comments while I still receive them because as you get older, things shift.
Yes.
Sincerely, Amy Jacobson. Drop mic. I'm done.
Awesome skin, Amy Jacobson. Yeah, I believe also, too, I mean, just to substantiate your statement with the evidence, I believe that is the last compliment you have received on your skin.
Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's the last. I mean, ladies.
It's probably the last one you'll probably the last one you'll ever get.
As we get older, we're not going to get compliments. So enjoy them while you can. Maybe it's because I worked at a restaurant for 6 years. I coach boys. And I know older people. People are different. We're just having fun. Lighten up,
You're not allowed
everybody.
to have fun. Not allowed to have fun.
We live in such a politically correct world that you can't have fun anymore.
Let me tell you something, Lake County voters, is if your property taxes aren't enough, you've got this child named John Eidelberg running for sheriff, and you've got that dimwit, Lauren Beth Gash, who for some reason is still in the Illinois Human Rights Commission. Yeah, of course.
Speaking on my behalf.
Yeah,
and put me in a corner.
Serving
I'll
as
go away.
Amy Jacobson's PR rep, agent at large, mouthpiece. I mean, you have to have no self-respect to support someone like John Eidelberg who would try to make this into some sort of political issue. This is how silly people are with respect to this. So they're legitimate, as you made it point out in your statement, exactly right. They're legitimate victims who've been sexually assaulted or worse that the Me Too movement has spotlighted, and good for that, good for the movement and good for those victims to get some semblance of justice. And then there's the hysteria. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon. Everybody wants to have their moment or capitalize on somebody else's moment for their own particular ends, regardless of how flimsy that moment is.
I mean, I do have a Me Too moment, but trust me, this wasn't it. And I don't care to go public with it because it's my business and it's nobody else's business.
Who was it?
Eidelberg said people have been sharing recordings of this show, by the way, during which, he made the reference to my awesome skin.
Yeah.
And that I look really nice. I'm a really nice looking lady. And he said that, people have just been bombarding him, giving them this tape, sharing it with them. Like, you should make
Did you hear
you
this?
should make an issue out of this.
I don't think it's So who
how am I going to fight back?
No, who was the Me Too movement?
Oh, it wasn't here in Chicago. It was a different market.
Detroit.
All I will say is that. And I dealt with it, and it's settled. Not settled. in a court of law, but it settled with me personally.
Did it involve Isaiah
Oh my gosh,
Thomas?
stop.
Because he had some problems in New
Oh.
York.
Look, there's people on the line. 312-642-5600.
Deborah in Arlington Heights.
Well, first of all, good morning. And I met you guys last year, and Dan, your skin looked pretty good to me.
Thank you very much.
Secondly, has anybody listened to rap and hip-hop music?
Oh,
yeah, I do.
Nobody touches that. Talk about misogynistic and, politically incorrect all over the place, and somebody makes a big deal about an innocuous comment like this.
And a lot of people don't know Mark Curran was a rap star before he became Lake County Sheriff. Thanks for the call,
Mark Kern
Deborah.
and I, what we share in common is that we are both talking about volunteer coaching. He's coached his kids and their teams, various teams, and I'm coaching all the time. So we're talking about that.
For people who don't know Mark, because I've been friends with Mark for a while,
He's funny. I mean, he's got a humorous side to him.
Mark is a devout Catholic, too. I mean, he's somebody who takes his faith seriously. He lives his faith. So maybe, being like kind of and he's not that old, but like old fuddy-duddy, like complimenting a woman on her appearance when you meet her. Maybe that's verboten these days. But, back 5 minutes ago, it didn't used to be.
Right.
I mean, so it was
In the last year and a half, everything's changed.
completely harmless. And again, I say John Eidelberg, Lauren Beth Gash. I mean, Lauren Beth Gash has been a disgrace in Illinois politics for 2.5 decades. I've never heard of this Eidelberg goof. But anybody who knows him or anybody who's a voter in Lake County, again, you cannot have any self-respect if you would support somebody like John Eidelberg, who's aghast, who's descended into a puddle of tears over what happened to Amy Jacobson in a friendly conversation on the radio with Mark Kern. It's embarrassing. Honestly, embarrassing. Chip in St. Charles.
Hey, just another Amy Jacobson scandal.
Yeah.
She's got almost as many scandals as she has prom dates.
Oh.
And
wow.
Nice
That's not a
skin,
compliment.
ma'am. Nice skin.
Oh,
you.
Chip, thanks for the call. Well, he ended on a high note. But
This just did. This is not a scandal. This is stupid.
That's true.
The other thing, yes, this is not it. Sorry.
Tom in Deer Park.
Oh, hey, good morning. I don't want to. I'm up in Lake County. I don't want to say anything that might get me in trouble if these people get swept in. But it seems to me that it's the death of irony, it's the death of humor, and it's definitely coming from the left, I think. So, Dan and Amy, we love your show. We love what you do. But why don't you just get ahead of the curve? And for those on the right and the center right, just stop being ironic, stop being humorous, stop being fun, and just basically end your show. And we'll just all move on.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Ralph in Rantoul.
Good morning. I think clearly this is hate speech by the reporters because we all look better with skin. And I'm thinking of the Plastination Body World exhibits. Keep your skin, Amy, and I think these people should be called out for being skin haters and wanting to see all of us turned into plastic art ghouls.
Thanks, Ralph.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Plenty of sunshine, not as warm as yesterday, a pleasant high of 80 degrees. Then tonight, a moonlit sky, a low of 61. And tomorrow, partly sunny, another nice day, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Jim Talamonte, what do you use to exfoliate your skin with?
Oh, that's a good one, Amy. Just a good, healthy breakfast every morning. and stay clean. Lakemore, got a closure of Sullivan Lake Road, eastbound and westbound. This is due to a police-involved shooting in that area. The closure is between Four Seasons Boulevard, Highway 12. E. Kennedy, now 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The inbound delay starts at Foster. Outbound, it's 40 minutes. Eden's 20 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound, 34. Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound, 48 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 37 minutes, 95 to downtown. It's always pretty heavy except for the Reagan Tollway, which right now looks fine. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Turnkey IT knows that computer networks and all things IT are the vital heartbeat of any company. However, keeping up with hardware and software to hiring and managing IT staff can be costly and time-consuming, but there is a different solution. Now your business can have a full-time IT department for only $795 a month. That's what Turnkey IT's all-in small business package is for. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and so much more. Plus new hardware every 4 years. Hey, where can you hire a reliable, highly capable employee for less than $10K per year? You don't have to with Turnkey IT. From one person to 200 employees, it's easy and affordable with Turnkey IT. You run your business, they'll handle the technical stuff. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. What a contrast, right? At the same time, President Trump was stumbling through his post-game presser with Putin, which necessitated a next-day contraction-retraction. Former President Obama was in South Africa treating the world to his soaring rhetoric, thereby reminding us how good we had it. That's the D.C. press corps' version of events. Unfortunately for Democrats, Obama's tawdry sentimentality and life's little instruction book maxims hold up about as well over time as do his policies. Obama got away with congenial disdain for the Bible and gun clingers, but his political progeny, not to mention his administration's apparatchiks, are not nearly as adroit. Obama's veiled invective is weak tea compared to his former CIA director's call for a firing squad. Obama's cliche-ridden claptrap lacks the appeal of Adam Schiff's Manchurian Candidate conspiracy theories or a Business Insider deep dive on bugging soccer balls. Obama served as a veneer for the left's ugliness. Trump has unleashed it and marginalized Obama as a political asset in the process. Now Trump leads the left's parade of horribles around by their pea hats in full public view. It's messy, and Trump is sloppy, but like the 1983 Chicago White Sox, Trump is winning ugly.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Hey, nothing says summer like the smell of a grill, a delicious handcrafted burger, and a cold beer or cocktail. The Country House has been providing just that for over 40 years. Their 3 great locations in Lisle, Clarendon Hills, and Geneva offers great hospitality in a casual neighborhood setting. Try their award-winning Country Burger, half-pound of fresh chuck, grilled to perfection and served on dark rye. Country House has several other choices for burgers like bison, elk, turkey, and veggie, and their top-drawer burger blends short rib chuck and brisket for an unmatched taste. Take your time looking over the daily specials while you enjoy the spacious deck in Geneva or hang out on the patio in Lisle. And don't forget to join the House Rewards program at Country House and earn points while you dine. All new signups will be entered into a drawing for tickets to see the Northsiders versus the Southsiders. Country House. Visit burgerone.com. That's burgerone.com.
Tired of working dead-end jobs, getting laid off time and time again? Consider the growing healthcare field. Change your future now. TTI Medical Training can help you. TTI Medical Training offers in-demand healthcare training programs so you can enter the growing healthcare field. They offer courses to become a certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, patient care technician, dialysis technician, and other rewarding healthcare careers. All TTI Medical Training programs lead to certification, and that's the key to getting a job in the healthcare field. Healthcare employers desperately need certified healthcare techs. TTI offers short-term programs that you can complete in less than 9 months. You can start your healthcare career right after graduation. They have 2 locations in Chicagoland and flexible class schedules to fit any schedule. Call now, 773-774-2222, and begin healthcare training today. Or learn more online at ttimedicalschool.com. That's 773-774-2222 or online at ttimedicalschool.com.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
Formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then a Lico Chop.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore. DINOVITE.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
2 police officers murdered in 2 states. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. One was a state trooper in Arizona, shot late last night, along with another trooper who survived as they tried to arrest a man driving erratically, throwing things at other cars. They got into a fight. The man took one of the trooper's guns and fired at them both.
The body of Trooper Tyler Edenhofer was escorted from the hospital here in Avondale, a suburb of Phoenix, draped in a flag, saluted by his comrades, honored as a hero.
Anita Roman with Fox 10 TV. This gunman is in custody. The other shooting was in Milwaukee. Fox's Jeff Manasso has this live.
Dave, a squad car is draped in black outside Milwaukee Police Headquarters after a 17-year veteran officer was shot and killed last night by a suspect wanted on drug and gun crimes.
A very, very tough time for our department. Several members of the department were involved in taking him into custody. The suspect was not shot.
Police Chief Alfonso Morales, the identity of the officer not yet released. The state is investigating. It had been 22 years since the Milwaukee Police Department lost an officer in the line of duty. This now the department's 2nd officer death just this summer. Dave.
Jeff, it's not clear if the House will vote before going on August recess, but 11 Republicans led by Congressman Mark Meadows want to impeach Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, demanding more information about the Trump-Russia probe.
Not only have subpoenas been ignored, but information has been hidden. The efforts have been stonewalled.
House Democrats call it dangerous, an attempt to undermine a criminal investigation to protect President Trump. The president's about to leave for Iowa, where farmers dealing with retaliatory tariffs on their crop exports have given mixed reviews on the administration's $12 billion financial aid package. This the day after he worked out a deal with the Europeans to import more soybeans and natural gas.
It will also make trade fairer and more reciprocal, my favorite word, reciprocal.
The president will also get to Illinois today to talk steel. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine this morning, 72 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Lake County Sheriff's deputies responded early this morning to an officer-involved shooting in North Suburban Lakemore. There continue to be a number of police cars in the area of Four Seasons Boulevard and Sullivan Lake Road. Right now, neither the Lake County Sheriff's nor Lakemore Police are releasing details on exactly what happened. Bond is set at $300,000 for a man charged in a wheeling crash last weekend that took the life of a Mount Prospect teen. Adam Grunin appeared in court yesterday on a charge of reckless homicide. The collision killed 16-year-old Alyssa Lendino. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner will not be on the stage today when President Trump arrives in the Metro East. Governor stated earlier this week he would not be in Granite City with the president at U.S. Steel. Chicago Public School Board expected to vote in favor of a $1 billion capital plan. Some parents and students are pushing for that vote to be delayed because the proposal does not distribute money in their world equally. They say their world also consists of less development of high schools. There are 2 new high schools in the plan, and for the parents, more money for special education. Cubs clipped the Diamondbacks 2-1 at Wrigley Field. Mike Trout, 2 home runs. Angels over the White Sox in Anaheim, 11-3. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, European stocks are higher, helped by the agreement between the U.S. and European Union to work on trade. But Facebook shares are expected to open sharply lower after the social network reported slower growth in the recent quarter. Mattel is eliminating 2,200 jobs and is selling manufacturing sites in Mexico after it lost money in the recent quarter. Mattel lost business because of the Toys R Us liquidation. Walmart is hoping to pick up some of the business from Babies R Us, which was owned by Toys R Us and also liquidated. Walmart is launching a new online site today with 6 different collections of products for babies. Walmart says it wants to make it easier for parents to outfit their baby's nursery. The Dow was up 172 yesterday. NASDAQ added 91, S&P up 24. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder wants to see real evidence of collusion.
There's a hashtag going around called hashtag Treason Summit. I mean, come on. What's the evidence that Trump has done something to curry favor with Russia? Building up our energy independence? Criticizing the pipeline that Russia intends to build? And Donald Trump is too soft on Russia? I don't get it. Nonsense. That said, where's the collusion? There isn't any.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
.806 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. And Lake Forest Sullivan Lake Road remains closed between 12 and Four Seasons Boulevard. After that police-involved shooting, Tri-State Tollway is heavy southbound 21 to Bradley and 2E to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound, it is stop and go from 95th to 31st after the Cermak toll to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial heavy from the Boughton Toll to Reagan Tollway, Finley to North Avenue, and Army Trail to 290, southbound tight North Avenue to Roosevelt. Other tollways are fine. The Edens runs 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 34. Kennedy, 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 28 in the Express, outbound 40 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound it's 48 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. You can help put an end to Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Joining Team Challenge, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation's endurance training program. Run, walk, cycle, or complete a triathlon and get closer to the ultimate finish line, yours. Visit ccteamchallenge.org to learn more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, a blend of clouds and sun with a high of 80. A moonlit sky for tonight with a low 61. Then we'll have partial sunshine throughout the day tomorrow with a high 77. And at night, it will turn out to be partly cloudy with a low 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
72 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Cory Booker, he's a senator from New Jersey. You ever see the documentary Street Fight? Check it out. Cory Booker is intolerable now, but when he first came back to Newark from Stanford, it was kind of interesting. Sort of like
my hero.
Next
he was
gen,
like a superhero.
Well,
He saved people from burning buildings and all that.
Well, okay. Well, this is more recently, and I don't know.
If anybody has listened to the show over the years, I've always called him a superhero.
Yeah. Well, Cory Booker, when he came back, it's supposed to represent a sort of a clean break from, well, I mean, let me just say it, the poverty pimp, black politician of the Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and in Newark, Sharp James, Variety, Sharp James, who ultimately went to jail. Newark, or the documentary Street Fight, is his first run for mayor against Sharp James, a sort of institutional politician there, corrupt. He loses that. It's really well done. He loses that race, and he goes on to beat Sharp James the next time around, and that launched his political career. But now Cory Booker is, in some respects, is even worse than those guys because he knows better. But this is the space he has to occupy to be relevant in the modern Democrat Party. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I apologize to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat Socialist Party. So listen to him standing next to another Democratic socialist, Elizabeth Warren, yesterday, talking about Judge Kavanaugh's nomination to the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we need that.
We need that theme music, yeah.
Please. Stat.
And the Dems' desperation to try and whip up interest in stopping his nomination, which they're having a very difficult time doing. But listen to Cory Booker.
There is so much at stake here that has nothing to do with politics. This is to do with who we are as moral beings. And so I want to call on everybody. I'm not here to tell folk just what they should know. I'm here to call on folk to understand that in the moral moment, there is no neutral. In a moral moment, there is no bystanders. You are either complicit in the evil, you are either contributing to the wrong, or you are fighting against it.
So if you support the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court, much less vote for it as a United States Senator, you are complicit in evil. Strong statement, I'd say. For more on this topic and a few others, we're pleased to be joined again by Noah Rothman, Associate Editor for Commentary Magazine. Noah has written a piece about the New Left and who they're coming for. It's complicit in evil. I think you start to get an indication. Noah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Do we have Noah?
Oh, sorry.
There we go. All right. Hey, Noah, how are you doing?
Thanks for having me. Sorry about that. That was on my end.
No problem.
I actually haven't seen the documentary that you mentioned, but there's another one that I have seen with Cory Booker as superhero premise, Brick City, which is a fantastic documentary about the revitalization of Newark. And Cory Booker, as you said, this big break from the very corrupt, institutionalized African-American political machine that dominated Newark for so long. And it really wasn't, it was hagiographical, but it wasn't nonsense. It wasn't a lie. I mean, the guy was actually the real deal. I grew up in New Jersey, born and raised, and followed his career. And a lot of the people I know, even centrist Republicans were like, the guy's a real deal. It could, sort of be the new Bill Clinton triangulating Democratic Leadership Council kind of centrist liberal.
Well, right, and remember,
that could move this party back from the left.
And remember, at the outset, he was also going to be part of the education innovation cadre of new politicians in urban centers. He was open to school choice. He was open to charter schools. And then once he started climbing up the political ladder, he had to walk all that back in and genuflect before the teachers' unions.
Yeah, and he had his fair share of scandals. I don't think you can govern a city like Newark and not. But he was a change from the overt corruption that was endemic in that city for so long and has returned. But what we've seen of Cory Booker since is a very skilled and capable politician, and that is what you played. You played a very skilled and capable politician. It's kind of nauseating because it's so theatrical and scene-chewing, but he has his finger on the pulse of what the Democratic base wants. They want to see projection and passion and uncompromising, absurd assessments of the state of the union, and Cory Booker is delivering.
Well, clearly he's trying to please his base, but isn't his end game is to one day be president of the United States?
Of course. And, I think he's doing a pretty good job of it. Democrats want to see passion, even at the expense of their own position. That's why they filibustered Neil Gorsuch, knowing that he had the votes, knowing that it would result in the curtailment of the privileges enjoyed by the Senate minority. They cut off their own nose there, but that is what the base demanded of them. That's why they shut down the government in January toward no discernible end. It's just what the base wanted of them. And then they had to perform this sort of ignominious retreat, but in a tactical retreat. They had no choice, and declare sue for peace and declare victory. And that's what the base demanded of them. They got nothing out of these deals, but they just wanted to see some sort of behavior. The base really does want to see performative displays, not so much positioning their members for the next election, but just demonstrating the kind of passion and the kind of anxiety that they feel.
Your recent column that I mentioned, The New Left, is coming for you. When are they coming for me, and how should I prepare?
I don't know if you can prepare. You can prepare by simply not giving an inch, I don't think. What we've seen, sort of, especially in the entertainment sphere, and people in that venue, the activist left, not necessarily the political left, but the grassroots, as we've been talking about, is again displays of passion and displays of orthodoxy. They don't want to see any sort of compromise, particularly on a philosophical level. So when you see this, if remember early on in the Trump era, there was this sort of attempt, and I don't think it was 100% genuine, but there was a sort of an effort to say, we need to get outside our bubble. We need to reconnect with the country that apparently makes up at least a plurality of it enough to win presidential elections that nobody knew about, nobody saw it coming, so we need to open ourselves up to that. There was a base of the Democratic Party that resented that because they never thought that part of the country deserved a hearing. And they are becoming more ascendant and more forceful in their efforts to prevent that. So when you see people like Mark Duplass, who is an actor, a left-wing actor, by the way, say a kind word about Ben Shapiro, it sets off this whole cascading series of events that eventually resulted in a very successful director, James Gunn, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, being removed from his position because he said a kind word about Mark Duplass, and then the activist left, or the activist right, rather, actually, goes into his background and tries to find all these off-color jokes that he made on Twitter and demands that the left enforce their own rules. Now, the idea behind that was that they wouldn't, that they would be duplicitous. But they're not, and they're happy to enforce their own rules against their own because James Gunn had violated the precepts that they believe are the most valuable at this moment, which is to never give the right an inch, never to entertain the option that people on the right who are effective, like Ben Shapiro, are in the mainstream. So if that means getting rid of their own, even if they're super successful, even if they make Disney and ABC millions and millions of dollars, it is necessary to get rid of them.
Well, then, so does the conservatives and all conservative office holders need to be similarly unyielding? And I'll level up an example. Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan moving on Rod Rosenstein. authoring the articles of impeachment for Rod Rosenstein and continuing to prosecute their case against the perception of a rigged witch hunt, to borrow a phrase, at Justice and FBI against the Trump administration.
Right, but you got to the heart of it right there, because they're not saying that. They're not saying that we're going after the rigged witch hunt.
That's right.
This is supposedly about Rod Rosenstein's withholding of documents from the House that they've requested, which they said, by the way, the Department of Justice has said, you will never receive. And it is their prerogative. This is the executive branch. This is the President of the United States. Donald Trump's DOJ has the privilege to withhold from the House and to make sure that they never go public whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
They can have execute executive privilege in that fashion. In fact, Eric Holder did precisely the same thing, and the Republican-led House held him in contempt. They never tried to impeach him. This is going a major step further, and it's definitely a calculated and performative display, and one that is completely unjustified in my view, but it is nevertheless of value to the base that they are playing for.
Right, and this comes on the heels of some things that particularly the House has done that has not exactly whipped the base into a frenzy for the midterms, like the omnibus spending bill, and also just the experience, some of the antagonism towards Trump intra-party, but also the experience of, nobody ever really got held accountable. Not really. Nobody ever got held accountable with the IRS abuses. And there was a lot of talk during the Obama years, House Republicans sending letters and this and that. And Koskinen and Lois Lerner walked away scot-free after violating people's constitutional rights with the most weaponized non-military agency in the federal government. And so, you can see why there would be a demand for some performance in furtherance of the rhetorical position you say you're taking.
Sure, and that is the mirror image of what Cory Booker is playing to, the sentiment that he is whipping up and appealing to, and I don't think it's especially healthy. Look, one of the major agenda items on Paul Ryan's agenda when the Republicans began this Congress with Donald Trump as president was IRS reform.
Yeah.
It was a big package reform and scaling back of, as you said, what is the most effective police institution that is not a police institution in the government. And they never got to it. They never got around to it for a lot of reasons. I think once we, there's the presumption on the part of the activist base on the right is that, there really is no democratic wave forming. I don't see that in the numbers. It looks like there's a fund between fundraising and candidate performance and off year and special elections. Democrats are winning across the board. It doesn't look good in November. And when we come back and look back on this era and the opportunities that we missed, I think there's going to be a lot of wet eyes in the House among conservatives about the opportunities that they had and they whiffed on.
He is Noah Rothman, associate editor for Commentary Magazine. Check out his latest piece. The New Left is coming for you. Noah, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, free fries on Friday and now naked people doing jumping jacks at McDonald's. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine, a high today of 80 degrees. Tonight it's going to be cool and there's no clouds, a moonlit sky, a low of 61. And for Friday, it looks good, partly sunny, a high of 77. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Lakemore, Sullivan Lake Road still closed between 12 and 4 Seasons Boulevard after a police-involved shooting. In Wadsworth, 173 is blocked westbound, Delaney to Kilbourne. That's due to a crash. The Edens is clear inbound, but outbound there are delays till you get past Skokie Road. 32 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook. Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 38. The Eisenhower's an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to the Circle. 38 minutes from Manhawk. The extension's heavy. Outbound 44 minutes, 390. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Tri-State slow 21 to Bradley and 2 to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound long jams, 95th and 31st after the Cermak toll to Balmoral. Reagan Tollway just past 53 on the eastbound side. Right lane blocked with a car fire. Northbound Veterans Memorial slow 63rd to North Avenue and Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A glass of wine on the patio at day's end. Laughter from your teens and their friends gathered around the crackling fire of your new fire pit. This is the private oasis that AM Woodland Outdoor Design can create for you. Your outdoor space should be a reflection of your family's personality and a true extension of your home, not just a place to set your grill and furniture. A well-designed and constructed outdoor space can add significant value to your home and bring endless days of enjoyment. Spend more time together as a family, entertain friends, or just have a personal sanctuary to relax and de-stress. The expert team at AM Woodland Outdoor Design will guide you through every step of the process. They provide quality service with the utmost integrity and reliability every time.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com. That's amwoodland.com or call 847-224-2167.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
My husband's blood pressure has dropped 30 points. I've lost 8 pounds. He's lost about 20 pounds. His arthritis is gone. You guys have given me back my husband. I'd come home from work, and if he beat me home from work, he would be laying in the recliner, and I would feed him supper in his recliner and would be like really boring, pathetic old people watching TV while we ate dinner and then go to bed exhausted and wake up tired. I came home from work last night, and he was mowing the lawn. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
So what are Hoosiers saying about President Trump's tax cuts? Listen to Larry Davis, who runs a manufacturing business in Mishawaka.
It's a great time to be in business, especially in Indiana. As a result of the tax cuts and the improved economy, we're able to invest in people, buy new equipment, and grow. Tax cuts are working for Indiana businesses, and they should be made permanent.
But in Washington, Senator Joe Donnelly voted no on tax cuts and said at the time,
"It's not tax reform. It's a partisan tax hike on Indiana's middle class."
So Donnelly voted with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren against a tax cut of more than $2,000 for middle-class Hoosier families. It's time for him to listen to Indiana. Call Senator Joe Donnelly at 202-224-4814. Urge him to support S2687 and vote to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
What I suffer from is anxiety, along with depression. But I feel the anxiety triggers depression more times than not. My first experience with HPR was my initial interview. It was welcoming. It felt very good. I saw results pretty much immediately. Even after my first treatment, I felt different than when I came in. I think HPR could work for pretty much anyone. I think that what HPR has done for me was awaken a part of my brain that either stopped working or never worked. I think everybody can benefit from HPR. I'm Alex, and HPR Treatments has helped save my life.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
When you purchase an alarm system, you do it for one reason above all others. You need to know something about the people or property under your care. Knowing that what matters most will be looked after by professionals when you can't be there is a comforting feeling. At Alarm Detection Systems, we've learned a great deal from our decades of service. We know how to treat customers on the phone. We know that installing quality security products using certified technicians is the only way to go. We know that same-day service and local monitoring will provide the safety and peace of mind you're looking for. You no longer have to wonder if your home or business is protected by your alarm system. Know that it is. At home or on the go, the information you seek is right in your hands. It's good to be in the know. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's 630-844-6300 or online at adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
AM 560, The Answer.
I know a lot of people are having a hard time mustering interest in this Michael Cohen saga. What is Drudge referring to him as, the rat?
Yes.
I think so. But this was sort of a remarkable interview that Lanny Davis, speaking of, gave to Clinton Foundation Donor Zero yesterday. Lanny Davis, former Clinton counselor, been retained by Michael Cohen to do some of the PR spin for him. So Lanny Davis on Michael Cohen. First, the operative question, one of the operative questions, why did he record Trump? Isn't that unethical? Right?
Yeah.
That's one of the questions people have.
It's not cool.
Michael Cohen has an answer to why he taped conversations, and I think he'll have to give that answer himself. I can't reveal that, but I will say that Michael Cohen has turned a corner in his life, and he's now dedicated to telling the truth to everyone, and we'll see what happens.
Michael Cohen's a scumbag. He even, when he was on the phone with Chris Cuomo, and Chris Cuomo said, hey, because they were lining up an interview, are you recording me? Is this thing running? And Michael Cohen said no. And Michael Cohen was recording him. I mean, he is a liar. And the only reason why he recorded President Trump is to blackmail him later on.
Well,
I think.
You just
conjecture on my part, but come on.
You just heard Lanny Davis. And I mean, if you can't trust Lanny Davis.
Oh, who can you trust?
Michael Cohen's turned over a new leaf. He's in the business of truth telling now.
Oh, okay.
This is the remarkable. Well, that's one thing. I can't tell you. Michael Cohen's going to have to tell you why he decided to record him. Lanny Davis, though, the hyperbolic comparisons, and there's no payoff. Makes a Watergate comparison, does Lanny Davis. Are we talking about anything criminal here? No.
It's about lies and truth. Giuliani can't make up the words "don't pay." I say to everybody who voted for Donald Trump, don't believe me, I'm a Democrat. Listen to the tape. The words "don't pay" are not heard. The word cash. So it's not about cash versus not cash. It's about truth. And the power of the truth is what Michael Cohen now has, no matter what Giuliani invents or Mayor Giuliani invents for a president who's been known to lie. Don't believe me. Listen to the tape the way John Dean had a tape that did in Richard Nixon.
You say John Dean had a tape that did in Richard Nixon. Those are the Watergate tapes. But this deal wasn't consummated. So is there any criminal activity there?
No. It's about truth. This is about truth versus lying, and ultimately, Donald Trump is going to be done in by the truth.
The truth is going to set Michael Cohen free and do in one President Trump. All of this is no criminal activity, nothing illegal, and I'm not saying it's ethical or redeeming Trump's behavior. It's repugnant, but he's a known reprobate for many, many moons, so it's built in. But with respect to all of this attention and focus and hoopla, what you're going to get into an argument about who is more truthful, Lanny Davis and fixer Michael Cohen or Donald Trump? I mean, talk about...
It's a laugh line. Where's our laugh track?
Seriously. I mean, talk about a race to irrelevancy. It's like the Aspen Security Forum.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Chicago police,
Copa. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, don't make light.
Well, you started. You're the one who
I can do it. I can
told me about it.
Yeah. You're right. That does seem inappropriate when we're talking about a police-involved killing.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I don't...
You're the one who had us pull the song.
You're so...
No, it's my fault. You're blaming me again.
You and Justin are tone deaf.
Oh.
I mean, really. We're going to talk about the body cam video released from a Chicago police-involved shooting last month. It was released yesterday. Will it generate more protests in the coming days at 8:38?
And there was something inside that soccer ball that Putin gave President Trump. We'll tell you what it was. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine 73. The Arizona Department of Public Safety trooper in training killed has been identified. A second officer hurt after an overnight shooting. DPS Director Frank Milstad, the Department of Public Safety, says they approached the driver in Arizona along an interstate in the Phoenix suburb of Avondale. The colonel, director of the Department of Public Safety, Frank Milstad, identifies the officer.
The other trooper that was hit was was Tyler Edenhofer. He graduated from our academy, from the State Trooper Academy, on May 4th. He was an officer in training, and his wounds were mortal.
The suspect struggled with the officers, somehow grabbing one of their guns and firing at least 2 shots. In Milwaukee, a police officer shot in the line of duty while responding to a call. That officer was a 17-year veteran with the force, Chief Alfonso Morales.
There was an exchange of gunfire, and during that exchange, one of our members was injured. I'm sad to inform you that the officer that was injured did not make it today.
Chief Alfonso Morales saying the officer was a veteran, suspect originally wanted on gun and drug charges, is in custody. More workers are filing unemployment claims. The Labor Department shows 217,000 Americans filing initial claims for benefits last week. A number of prominent conservatives say they're the victims of shadow banning on Twitter. Several officials and Republican lawmakers aren't appearing in social media auto-populated drop-down search results, and they're fuming. The president tweeting this morning, "We'll look into this discriminatory and illegal practice." Here in the Chicago area, Lake County Sheriff's deputies responded to an officer-involved shooting this morning. In Lakemore, there continue to be a number of police cars investigating in the area of Four Seasons Boulevard and Sullivan Lake Road. Cubs beat the Diamondbacks at Wrigley. Mike Trout led the Angels to a win over the White Sox in Anaheim. The news service of Unbound.org. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. An elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at Unbound.org. 8:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants the Trump haters to open their eyes.
A brand new poll from NBC News and the Wall Street Journal conducted before and after the Helsinki summit shows the president approval rating at 45%. That is up 1 point from June.
President's approval ratings in a pretty respected poll higher than they've ever been. His approval ratings continue to go up, which is making the left go crazy.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
How's your breath? If you're not using TheraBreath, it might be bad. TheraBreath is guaranteed to give you fresh breath or your money back. Available at your local drugstore. Visit TheraBreath.com for coupons and locations.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Metro Electric Line trains are stopped right now in both directions near Calumet Station. This is near 175th and Dixie Highway. For an incident involving a train and a pedestrian. Lakemore, there is still a closure of Sullivan Lake Road between Four Seasons at 12 after the police-involved shooting. Edens runs 19 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 32. Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 40 from Montrose, 38 for the Express. Outbound 15 minutes to Montrose, 38 to O'Hare. On Eisenhower, an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown, 39 minutes from Manheim, outbound 44 to 390. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Tri-State tight, 21 to Bradley, and 190 to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Cermak Toll to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial, heavy 63rd to North Avenue and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Not as warm today. Sunshine throughout the midday and the afternoon. High near 80. Moonlit sky overnight. Low 61. Currently 71 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee. Roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the video of a fatal shooting of 24-year-old Maurice Granton by Chicago police was released by COPA yesterday. The context of this, before we play some of the audio we have from the video, tactical officers from the 2nd District conducting a narcotics investigation in the area when police say Granton ran from them. Officers chased him, told him to stop. Police said that's when he pulled out a weapon, and an armed encounter between the offender and the police ensued.
Get down, stay down, stay down. Stay down. Stay down, stay down. It's a weapon right there, weapon right there. Get the weapon, go get the weapon. I have not been shot. Weapon right there. Stay down, man. 14 East 47th Street. Weapon right there. Stay back, stay back. No one's hurt over here, no one's hurt over here. All right, no one's hurt over here. Send an ambulance for the offender. Get the weapon, get the weapon, get the gun, get the gun. Get back, man. Get back. Are we at 314 East 47th or 40th? 264. You see your homie right there? You see your homie side? Yeah, on 40 your homie, you see the gun he shot? Get back, get back. Maurice, stay woke. He woke, he woke, he woke, he woke. 10-4. Correction, that 10-1 is at... He woke, he woke.
So one of the keys in that is you hear, and of course they stopped in terms of releasing when the shooting actually occurred. But one of the things that you hear is the officer talking about a weapon right there, and you see on the body cam video a handgun in a field. Ostensibly, that's Maurice Granton's gun, and
they say he dropped it right before, because then he's scaling a fence to try and run away from police. And you hear his friends like, Maurice, Maurice, and a woman yelling, boo, because they're, realizing that he got shot, because they all scattered when police came to ask them, about the narcotics investigation. But prior to that, you hear the shots being fired. This is another body cam, because there's different body cams, videos that were released. This is a police officer who was trying to question Maurice, who injured himself trying to climb a fence to reach him, and then you can hear the shots being fired.
Come here, man.
And that's the key right there. That's the key right there, because you hear one shot, pause, 3 shots.
Right. And police are saying Maurice shot at them. They fired back 3 shots. So you hear 1 shot, pause, and then boom, boom, boom. And everybody's consistent with 3 shots were fired. And that police officer later called for an ambulance for himself because he was injured.
Granton has a criminal record that includes convictions for robbery and theft. But his relatives, of course, saying that he was running away from officers. He was not a threat. He should not have been shot.
And he didn't shoot at police, and he's a wonderful father of 2.
It's the most terrible feeling you can ever feel, to see one of your children killed, and especially by a policeman who's supposed to serve and protect him.
So again, they're blaming, it's another police-involved shooting where their surviving family members are blaming the police and not their own children.
So this is sort of, unfortunately, a common narrative in the rare situation of a Chicago police-involved shooting. The Chicago police-involved shooting is rare. That ends in fatality, very rare. This is common, though, that you've got somebody who ostensibly, I don't know, but it appears, arguably, was engaged in illegal activity, had a weapon, resisted arrest, fled, and then, obviously, if what we surmise is true, that he opened fire, he ends up being killed. When if you just comply with police, you live to adjudicate the matter in a court of law.
Well, the family's hired an attorney.
They claim that there was an armed confrontation that day. Well, tell us what the armed confrontation was so that this family can have some peace.
Well, we just told you. I mean, I understand he's a plaintiff's attorney,
right.
but we just told you what it was. So, how this will be received, it'll probably be received differently by different people and different interests in the city, much like the Augustus case in South Shore was, where the guy clearly has a gun on his belt and he looks to be reaching for it, and he's got a magazine.
But he was reaching for his wallet. I know. It's just people interpret things differently.
And I just go back again. I'm beating the drum on this. But the interesting thing is, the more skepticism you have of police, the more you should be an advocate for compliance. If you think the police are all racist, they're looking to pop you at the drop of a hat, then that should incentivize you to be fully compliant, immediately compliant, right? Because what are you going to do? You're going to outgun the police? You're going to outrun the police? No, you're not. So the play, logically, forget what the police is as an institution. Take the worst impression you have of police, or the person with the worst impression of police. That should encourage you to surrender so that, as I said, you get to adjudicate the matter as a living human being rather than having your family have to do so posthumously. Really, it's just a struggle to me, the messaging on this. It's very much like talking about the welfare state, and those that are the strongest antagonists towards the police, strongest proponents of the welfare state, have their interests in mind to the exclusion of the interests of the people they purport to represent, the people they purport to be fighting to help. And I just don't understand why. I just struggle to understand why people don't get the scam that the politicos, whether they be elected officials or just shakedown artists like Jackson and others, Flager. I just don't understand why they don't see the scams. They live in neighborhoods that are beset by scams, government and private. And for some reason, this one they're blind to.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
One more thing, the family, when they came forward yesterday with their attorney, they said that the weapon in the photo was not his gun, but Chicago police argue otherwise. Today, plenty of sunshine right now. It should remain that way throughout the day. A high of 80 degrees. Tonight, a moonlit sky, a low of 61. And for Friday, partly sunny and pleasant, a high of 77. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Amy and Dan, trains are stopped on Metro's electric line right now near Calumet Station, 175th and Dixie Highway after a pedestrian incident. Lake Moore Sullivan Lake Road remains blocked off between Four Seasons Boulevard, 12 after a police-involved shooting there. Edens runs 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 32. Inbound Kennedy, Pack, Irving Park to Randolph, 58 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 48 from Montrose, 45 in the Express. Outbound 33 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown, 42 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 42 to 390. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound has cleared up. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State still slow, 21 to Bradley, 190 to the Bensonville Bridge. northbound from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Cermak Toll to Balmoral, northbound Veterans Memorial, heavy between 63rd and North Avenue, and from Army Trail to 290, southbound 53, tight Palatine Kirchhoff. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Have your parents outlived their retirement assets? Do your parents' Social Security or pension checks no longer cover their monthly expenses? Are you depleting your assets because you promised your dad you'd take care of your mother before he passed away? Are you burnt out caring for your parents because you can't afford to hire a caretaker? Are you interested in learning how a reverse mortgage loan can extend your parents' retirement assets? Do you want to get all your reverse mortgage loan questions answered by a local reverse mortgage loan expert? If you said yes to any of these questions, I strongly encourage you to join local media legend Orrin Samuelson and Team Hochberg's free reverse mortgage loan seminar. It is tomorrow night, Friday, July 27th, from 3 to 5 p.m. at Del Webb in Huntley. This seminar is free, and refreshments from Jameson Steakhouse will be served. That'll be nice. To register for this free reverse mortgage loan event on Friday, July 27th, tomorrow at Del Webb in Huntley, go to reversedavid.com. That's reversedavid.com. Pearl Mortgage, equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. What a contrast, right? At the same time, President Trump was stumbling through his post-game presser with Putin, which necessitated a next-day contraction-retraction. Former President Obama was in South Africa treating the world to his soaring rhetoric, thereby reminding us how good we had it. That's the D.C. press corps' version of events. Unfortunately for Democrats, Obama's tawdry sentimentality and life's little instruction book maxims hold up about as well over time as do his policies. Obama got away with congenial disdain for the Bible and gun clingers, but his political progeny, not to mention his administration's apparatchiks, are not nearly as adroit. Obama's veiled invective is weak tea compared to his former CIA director's call for a firing squad. Obama's cliche-ridden claptrap lacks the appeal of Adam Schiff's Manchurian Candidate conspiracy theories or a Business Insider deep dive on bugging soccer balls. Obama served as a veneer for the left's ugliness. Trump has unleashed it and marginalized Obama as a political asset in the process. Now Trump leads the left's parade of horribles around by their pea hats in full public view. It's messy, and Trump is sloppy, but like the 1983 Chicago White Sox, Trump is winning ugly. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them, and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early-stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm George Stahowski, President of the Chicagoland Associated General Contractors, the local branch of the National AGC. As a leading trade association in the Chicagoland commercial construction industry, the Chicagoland AGC's mission is to serve our members through advocacy, education, and networking. We provide business opportunities, safety programs, innovative construction practices, and enhanced labor relations. Membership with the CAGC is an easy way to connect with the most established and largest national construction association in the country, with over 26,000 members in total. For more information on membership, visit chicagolandagc.org. That's chicagolandagc.org. We're also a proud sponsor of the 100 Club of Chicago and thank them for the support they provide to families of first responders who lost their lives in the line of duty. For more information on this amazing organization, please visit 100clubchicago.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we were talking about that Chicago police shooting. Something else Chicago-related that is worth taking note of. You know, it pays handsomely to destroy a great city. Chicago politicians, their golden years are 24 karat. You ready for these numbers?
I'm sitting down. Or I'm sitting down, excuse me.
15 former Chicago aldermen received six-figure annual pensions. 4 have accumulated more than $1 million total. Bill Beavers, convicted felon. Hog with the big nuts. You remember him.
Oh, I do. Hog with the big nuts.
111 grand annually. 1.1 million collected so far.
Oh, my gosh. It's highway robbery.
Bernie Hansen.
Yeah, he's my former alderman.
105. He's been collecting since 2003, so 15 years. 105 grand is his annual pension. 1.33 million is what he's collected so far.
And excuse my ignorance, do you pay taxes on pensions or not yet?
Not on pension income in Illinois.
So that's just free and clear cash.
Dorothy Tillman, the hat.
Oh, I loved her hats.
108 grand is her annual pension. 1.036 million she's collected so far. Bert Nateris, the same. Helen Schiller, the same. Although she's only collected 704 grand so far because she retired a few years after Nateris and Tillman, who retired the same year. Virginia Rugai, Beverly, 108 grand. 700 grand so far after 7 years. Tom Allen, same thing. Ed Smith, 112 grand annual pension, 770 collected so far. Billy Banks, 115 grand, 907,000 collected so far.
And where is this money coming from? Aren't their checks going to bounce soon? Or there's going to be no direct deposit?
Here's $36 billion unfunded pension liability in the city. And, you wonder why. Well, maybe it's because of this feudal system where we pay, as I said, for 24 karat golden years for our politicians. Same thing at the state level, same thing in all of the big systems in Illinois. And that's, oh, by the way, if you'd like to connect some dots, why property taxes are liquidating your home value. Pensions, salaries and benefits. That's what you're financing at the local level. Your home is collateral for somebody else's pension, like Bill Beavers or Tom Allen or Helen Schiller or Bert Nateris. You think that's a pretty good return on your investment? Speaking of which, you know who else is having pension problems? Putin.
Putin is?
Forget America. He's got internal domestic problems. He's got a backlash in Russia against a proposal to raise the retirement age there. So, pension problems are parochial.
They're global.
And, they're parochial but global, exactly.
Well, we joked around about this because after their press conference where they seem to be buddy-buddy, you had me at hello. President Putin graciously handed President Trump an Adidas soccer ball because they had just gotten done hosting the World Cup, which I'm sure you watched every game.
Mm-hmm.
And you were joking around that the ball had a little camera in it. Well, the ball may have contained a transmitter chip. So on the logo, and Adidas confirmed this, that the technology gives users access to different functionalities, including exclusive information about the product, and it can transmit to local cell phone towers.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with spying. It has to do with Adidas and, allowing you to use your mobile devices close to the ball to access content.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not
the Secret
silliness
Service
of the conspiracy theories.
Said in a statement that all gifts given to the president are subject to thorough security screening. Secret Service doesn't comment in general about the means and methods of our protective responsibilities.
Yeah. So there's not like a little dog in there like Sputnik spying.
Well,
There's not, like a little a tiny dancer-sized Russian agent that was implanted in the ball.
They said Secret Service won't comment, but they said even if it does, it doesn't pose a security risk. Well, thank you.
Yes, Adidas is not a threat to,
Well, you know who has the
to
ball.
our representative republic.
You know who has the ball.
Yeah, the mastermind.
Barron Trump.
Right.
Kicking it around. He probably kicked that transmitter right out of there.
I mean, Barron Trump is the one that's running the whole show. I keep saying this. Nobody believes me. You think that's a conspiracy theory? Or you think you have a good conspiracy theory? Barron Trump. That's what you got to watch.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're